often imitated, never mother effing duplicated. You know who it is. You already know. We're back.
I ain't gonna lie. Play that shit again, Lou.
Oh, you want it one more time?
Yeah, that was
Play
pretty
it
good.
again. You gotta play it again. You gotta play it again. You gotta play that again, Lou.
One more.
One more.
Can I do it?
Often imitated, never mother effing duplicated. You already know who it is. The NFC EAST Super Friends back in our full splendor. Obviously, we're down a member. We're gonna talk
Can I
about
do this real
tonight.
quick? Can I do this real quick?
Yep.
Let me just do this. Finally, the Super Friends have come back
Yes, sir.
to YouTube. What up, chat? Let's go, baby.
We missed y'all. We missed y'all. I ain't gonna lie. Ain't nothing changed. We still going to the bowl. We missed y'all though.
Oh no, here you go. Already starting that foolishness. I missed y'all ugly mugs, man. I can't even front. I really, truly did, man. And I miss talking trash. Every time something significant happened, the first thing that popped in my head was, man, I would love to be talking some shit to LB and Bad Dog right now. So this feels right. This feels like we're back where we're supposed to be.
Right.
Y'all know who it is, man. It's Bad Dizzle up in the right-hand corner. Your man LB representing the Philadelphia Eagles,
sir.
and yours truly representing the Washington Commanders. When our superpowers combine, we form the NFC EAST Super Friends. Feels good to be back behind the mic. I'm so glad that we are back where we belong. And yeah, we know we've been hearing you. We heard your jokes. We heard all of your different comments about what was going on and your speculation and this, that, and the third. Some of your comments, I got to be honest with you. Some of your comments were outlandish. I mean, comedy. Some of the shit was comedy in the comment section about what y'all thought happened. And y'all were overthinking the whole situation, right? Let me just say this, and I think I speak on behalf of the entire NFC East Super Friends when I say this. There's no beef with Law, right? There's no issues with Law whatsoever. If Law wanted to come back, the door is open, right? The biggest issue we had was our schedules, right? Law's schedule was just too hectic for us to fit it into ours. And when we were trying to go live, we just had issues coordinating schedules. He's a busy guy. Like, who are we kidding? He's a rock star, right? And ultimately, we couldn't get on the same page with our schedules. And when we were ready to go live, he had other obligations, and it was just kind of making it tough for us to set up streams. And so we ended up going in a different direction. And so it's all love, right? And again, if he wanted to come back tomorrow, he could. And the door's open. But at the end of the day, this band don't stop for one man, right? So we got to keep on pushing. And I know you're gonna ask, well, what are you gonna do for Dallas? We got plans, man. Don't you worry. We gonna handle our end of the deal. Okay, we gonna take care of business. But at the end of the day, we bat like cook crack. So we got so much ground to cover. The last time we spoke, literally, we was all getting comfortable on the couch. I had made space for everybody. Me and Bad Dog, we were already chilling.
We're usually chilling in October on the couch.
Yeah. Look, man. Y'all had a resurgence at the end. You thought there was just a little sliver of hope, man.
It was fun. Tommy calls me. He brought a little excitement to the Giants. It was all right. It was all right. It's fun. It made it fun. It made a bad season fun. We had a good time with that for a little bit. And listen, even though we finished with 6 wins, we ended on a good note because we kicked the living hell out of Philadelphia. And I don't care what anybody says. That makes me feel good.
Hey,
and I have that on the Eagle fans all offseason. So what happened the last time we played? People in the comment section. So you did that Super Friends, comeback. We did a trailer.
That's right.
All right, guys. I just don't want to make Eagle fans mad. And I guys say, oh, Bad Dog, you got to be kidding me. What about 38-7? You guys haven't been relevant in 10 years. And I'm like, what? So you go back to 2022. You mentioned 38-7. I'm pretty sure that was an NFC divisional game. I'm pretty sure that's a relevant football game. If the Giants were in that game, how the hell were we been irrelevant for 10 years? Move the goalposts harder. I just don't want to do it. We kicked the Eagles' ass. Let's just call it what it is. It was a beatdown.
Yeah. Y'all sent them into the playoffs.
Y'all been irrelevant for 10 years. That's not a lie. Y'all been irrelevant for a very long time.
We've been in the playoffs.
Come on, stop it.
We've been there. Come on, LB. Well, the guy mentioned 38-7. That was a relevant game. I mean, it was. It was relevant.
No, when y'all knocked off the Vikings, I'm gonna keep it real. That was really relevant. Hey, it got Daniel Jones paid. It made y'all make the decision that helped us in the end. You choose Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, I feel like you got it
over Saquon Barkley.
But see, that's inaccurate. Like, people say this, but the Giants in 2022 during the bye week tried to get Barkley signed. They tried to get Barkley signed. They tried. They couldn't come to an agreement. Then it was the 11th hour, and the Giants were going to lose both of them. So they just, at the end, they had to sign Daniel Jones. They had to tag Barkley. It's just what they had to do. And when the Giants tagged Barkley, I'm pretty sure we knew he wasn't coming back. And now you look at these contracts that these quarterbacks are getting, and Daniel Jones's contract really isn't squat at this point. It's not a lot. And they can get out after this year if he stinks. So it ain't
better than a rookie deal. Y'all should have a rookie quarterback over there. But hey,
it is what it is. Games and we didn't get the guy. It's the way it goes. The Giants have been unfortunate when it comes to like drafting a quarterback. The year that we had the 5th and 7th pick, the quarterback class sucked. And then the next year we went to the postseason and we were picking 25th. You weren't going to get a quarterback there. So they had to sign Daniel Jones. And then last year, they won a couple games at the end of the year and they ended up picking 6th. And it was a quarterback heavy class. And the first 3 picks were QBs. And I'm glad the Giants didn't mortgage your future to get a Drake May. And I'm certainly glad they didn't draft J.J. McCarthy. And as much as I like Michael Penix, I don't want him 6th. I think Malik Neighbors was the right pick. So, we'll see what happens. But it is what it is. We got all stream to talk about the draft and offseason and everything else.
Yeah. Look, man, I mean, we're going to start there because free agency was wild. And honestly, if we were going to not have somebody for Dallas, it'd be perfect for this show because they didn't do shit in free agency. They didn't do nothing in the offseason. So
they had no money.
Really didn't have nothing to add to this particular conversation that we plan on having tonight. But, the offseason was crazy because obviously Washington went through a full transformation in terms of an organization. The Eagles have a new offensive and defensive coordinator. LB wanted Nick Sirianni fired. He's still here. I guess we'll talk about that a little bit. Bad Dog, you made an interesting trade to say the least. And obviously Saquon is now playing for the enemy. So there's a lot of changes going on with all of our teams right now. And so let's dive into that a bit. So LB, you wanted Nick Sirianni. Last time we spoke, you wanted Nick Sirianni fired. Okay.
Facts.
He obviously was retained. They brought in a new defensive coordinator, a new offensive coordinator, and they've kind of revamped the way they're going to do things. I think for Jalen Hurts, it's another offense. It's another year where there's no continuity, where he's got to learn a whole nother scheme, no language, all of that good stuff. A.J. Brown got a massive extension. I don't know if anybody saw that coming. I mean, that they kind of just did that. And there was this whole conversation about him potentially being disgruntled and wanting to be traded and all of this nonsense. And then, wow, 3 years, $96 million extension for A.J. Brown to stay in Philadelphia. Talk to us about your offseason, how you're feeling about all of the moves that have been made. Start with Sirianni, and then you can talk about your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, and some of the moves that have been made this offseason for your Eagles.
Hold on 1 second. I think I got some lag. I think it's coming from me.
Okay. Well, I can
hopefully that fixes it. So You good? So Nick Sirianni, I wanted Nick Sirianni fired. I'm not even gonna lie, man. And even going into this, this season right now with all the moves that we made, I still feel like Nick Sirianni is, in fact, still the weakest link of the Philadelphia Eagles and everything that we, put together, in terms of the offseason go. Howie Roseman did his job. Howie Roseman always does his job. He acquired talent. He even brought back a disgruntled C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I didn't see that happening, man. He re-signed A.J. Brown. I didn't see that happening. Then you go out there and go get Saquon Barkley. I like the Devin White addition. It's so many things that I like about this offseason. You were able to lock up Landon Dickerson long-term. You know what I'm saying? Your quarterback's locked up. Smitty got locked up as well. And Smitty, if you want to be honest, took a friendly deal. You make because Smitty could have got 30 mils somewhere and to go be a #1 guy, especially with his route running ability and the things that he brings to the table. You know what I mean? Playing alongside A.J. Brown. The moves that were made were amazing. You know what I mean? They were amazing to say the least. I'm not going to sit here and act like Kellen Moore is the guy that I wanted. I did not want Kellen Moore a part of this franchise at all, simply because, you know, I don't think his track record is good with quarterbacks in the playoffs, but now he has a quarterback that has excelled in the playoffs before. So, you know, it's just a wait and see thing. But Nick Sirianni is still the wild card to me, bro. Like, they might have took some responsibility away, but he's still the head coach at the end of the day. He still has to okay some of these game plans. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's going to take a step back so far to say, well, I'm going to let Kellen Moore draw it up this week and I'm not going to have any input. That ain't even Nick Sirianni. I was disgusted last year with Nick Sirianni. I did want Nick Sirianni gone, and I caught a lot of backlash from that. But, you know, it is what it is, man. Like, we did our job in terms of acquiring talent. Now it's on the coaches to get all of these guys on the same page. You know what I mean? The coaches have a job to do. You know what I mean? There's no shortage of talent, so there's no excuses.
Looking at what you guys have done, I mean, every year for y'all now is Super Bowl or bust. So anything less would be uncivilized for y'all. And at the end of the day, I can't tell you that what you've done is an upgrade. So I was a Vic Fangio fan up until I heard Dolphins players complaining about Vic Fangio and his style. And, you know, he's one of those guys that's old school. And having gone through what I went through with Eric Bieniemy last year, those kind of coaches are becoming extinct. You can't coach with a 1990s mentality anymore and expect that to succeed. And I think Vic Fangio is one of those dudes that's kind of prehistoric now. Teams have adjusted to his coverages, and I don't know if he has the answers to what teams are doing to combat what he's doing defensively. Y'all did go get some pieces to kind of help with the defense that he wants to run, but I still got questions about how good the defense is going to be. You know, losing your best edge rusher is not a, you know, just a sweep under the rug type thing. Hassan Reddick was a huge part of that defense. And you still got Josh Sweat, and he's solid, but I don't think any of those Georgia boys that you've drafted outside of Jalen Carter have produced anything. I was never a Nolan Smith fan. This is going to give him an opportunity to play a little bit more. I understand you went out and got the pass rusher from the Jets. He's a third down pass rush specialist. I would love to see him on the field on first and second downs. I will run right at him all day long, all day strong, because he cannot hold up against the run. So
I'm glad the Giants didn't take him. There was a lot of talk about the Giants signing him, and I was like, I'm glad we didn't take him. He didn't
Bryce Huff is a pass rush specialist.
Yeah, he's a third down pass rusher. That's
so
what he is.
I'm interested to see what the
Eagles we went cheap. We went cheap there. You know what I mean? That would be the one knock I have on the offseason. We definitely went cheap there. I think you should have paid Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick is one of those guys that can move the needle in terms of having a playoff run or not. He's proven to produce. Yeah. You know what I mean? I thought we should have paid Hassan Reddick. We should have tried to get as close to his number as possible. So, you know, I'm not sold on Bryce Huff. I'm not sold on anybody who does it one time. You know what I'm saying? That's just the nature of the beast with me. You know, now quarterbacks having playoff runs are different. I understand things happen, but I'm not sold on an edge rusher that had 10 sacks one time. Hassan Reddick has had 10 sacks for like 4 different ball clubs. So I just didn't understand that move at all. But, you know, that would be the one move I don't understand. But it's clear that Hassan Reddick wanted to get paid, which is why he's not practicing for the Jets now. And we might have dodged a bullet. He might have held out. Who knows what the case may be. But yeah, man, it's a couple guys that got to prove it. You're right, Lou. You're right. Nolan Smith got to prove it. That's a first-round pick. Jordan Davis got to prove it. Fletcher Cox is not there no more. You know what I mean? I thought Fletcher Cox still had 1 or 2 good years left in him. So, you know what I mean? It's some guys that definitely got to prove it. You know, I think, honestly, if you want to be for real, Milton Williams is chart. So, you know what I mean? It's some guys that got to prove it, but we're going to see.
Yeah. I do like Milton Williams, though. He's been really good for you guys. And
I like Milton, and he's been good in limited snaps.
That's right. And no Kelsey too. Like that's huge on the offensive line.
I was just going to ask, how big of a loss is that? You lose the offensive, the leader of your offensive line. You lose the heart of your offense pretty much with him retiring. It's hard to replace.
That's a huge loss, and I'm a huge Kelsey fan, and this would really make me say Nick Sirianni got to go. In the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're without AJ Brown. You don't let Kelsey in his last game of the season get to the second level and hit people and run the ball. You don't play a physical game that caters towards your future Hall of Famer. Yeah. Kelsey is known for getting to the second level in the screen game. You know what I mean? And pin and pull action. That's what Kelsey do. We elected to throw the ball like 50 damn times without AJ Brown. You know what I mean? That's just not good game planning, bro. It just didn't make sense to me. And if you got a coach that could be that negligent or that stubborn, that's a guy that got to go. You talking about you talking about losing the Super Bowl, man. You know what I mean? The antics on the sideline in the Super Bowl when we was up. Jalen Hurts got to tell you to calm down. He's just not. I don't think he fit for business, man. And I'm just keeping it 100, man. I don't care who don't like it. Oh, he went to the Super Bowl. Well, we ain't win. I don't think he fit for business, man. He got to tighten up. Because I'm trying to win a Super Bowl. That's all I want to talk about is winning Super Bowls. And when your head coach show characteristics of just not following a simple game plan, against Tampa Bay, bro, Swift was poised to go crazy.
Yeah,
we throw the ball.
He did it the first time when y'all played them. He went off. Make sense.
He did.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, did
right, he did. You got every analyst. You got every.
Do you think the Eagles are really going to be a Super Bowl contender? You guys lost 7 of your last 8 games, and those games were close. I mean, you guys got blown. We lost.
We lost.
When you were 10-1, we talked about how
he didn't want to hear it.
Gabriel turns the other way, you lose. If Mark has
none of y'all would have wanted to hear that 10-1.
Yeah. No,
you started 10-1.
Neither one of y'all would have wanted to hear that 10-1. Y'all don't. Y'all both of y'all ain't been 10-1 since the 90s. So y'all.
I knew what he was gonna say. I knew that was.
Y'all ain't been 10-1 since the 90s. So
what I'm saying is, you guys finished very poorly. There's a reason you started 10-1, and then
we started poorly too. We started poorly too.
You're talking about Super Bowls. Did you do enough in the offseason to combat that with the losses that your team had and guys like Hassan Reddick and Jason Kelsey? Is there enough? I know Eagle fans love to talk about Barkley, and I'll talk about Barkley when it's my turn. But I'm looking at the production that Swift gave you, and I'm like, is Barkley really the piece that's going to make you a Super Bowl contender? I said that Eagles went out and got Barkley for 2 reasons. Number one, just stick it to the Giants. And number 2, he's got very strong legs. His name is Saquon, so they got a stronger guy to push Jalen Hurts' ass into the end zone. That's what they got Barkley for.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think Barkley is a good exclamation mark, but I think the piece is going to be Fangio and Gardner Johnson. I think you got guys that's catered to the system, and I think Fangio was going to make the best out of that. Now, I will say this, man, we were bad all season on the defensive side of the ball. You know what I mean? 3 teams in the National Football League last year had 50 touchdowns scored on them. The Eagles were one of those 3 teams. You know what I mean? The Eagles had 35 passing touchdowns scored against them. Only the Commanders were ahead of them in that category. So the defense was bad the whole time. But the X factor was Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? Coming from behind 4 times down 10 at the half, that just don't happen. You know what I mean? Which is why it was an NFL record tied when he did it. So, without Jalen Hurts, you don't even make the playoffs for real. But the defense was ass the entire year. But when you're 10-1, you have to give the team you got to give them some leeway. You got to say, well, maybe y'all guys are going to clean it up at some point. I mean, you 10-1 for God's sakes. Maybe y'all going to play up to the record at some point. But, it came to bite us in the ass. It was the same thing with the Cowboys. The Cowboys were ass when you really, really dive into, the way that they played. When that defense gave up more than 20, they lost except one time. You know what I mean? The defense carried them the entire way. So it's like everything that's designed to bite you in the ass, you know what I mean? It'll happen in the playoffs one way or another unless you tighten up. So we were bad all year. Don't get it mixed up. But 10-1, hey, you gotta be happy.
Yeah, it was disappointing to see.
That's the wrong button.
It was disappointing to see everything happen the way that it did, and us not be able to give y'all hell as it was happening. Because I had predicted it. Remember, I said everybody was going to be home.
You said the defense was no good.
No, I talked about that all. Like LB didn't want to hear it. I talked about his defense because we were terrible on offense, and we shredded them twice. Two of our best offensive performances during the season was against the Eagles, right? So we knew they were garbage on the defensive side of the football, and it was only a matter of time before it bit them in the ass, and ultimately it did. And then seeing what happened to the Cowboys against Green Bay, and LB always likes to, put it this way: you were the first 7 seed in NFL history to lose a playoff game. So he always says that, and I always get a kick out of that. But I caught a lot of flack. And I was ready to sit in it, right? I was ready to sit and stew in it, take my L's, take my lumps, because I was banging that Ben Johnson drum as loud as one could bang it, and it didn't go as planned. But I can tell you right now that was the best thing that happened to us as an organization. You get the general manager, Adam Peters, and that was the first domino to fall. And that was the thing that we needed to have happen to set off the chain of events that ultimately took place. But, it's funny because you go back and you have revisionist history now and act as if, oh, yeah, Dan Quinn was the man all along. Most fans didn't want Dan Quinn. It wasn't this whole love fest like it is now when he first got here and when the word came out that he was potentially going to be the guy. So I was Ben Johnson. Loved his scheme, loved what he was doing on offense. I felt like his creativeness. We had the second pick in the draft. Everything was kind of falling into place. We had the second most cap space in the NFL. Everything was set up for Washington to be successful. And if you bring in a guy like Ben Johnson, who knows, sky's the limit. And ultimately, what he showed us was his true colors. And I've been on this kick that he's not an alpha, right? And, talking about wanting a situation where he's going to get a second contract. If you are confident in your abilities, you're not thinking about getting fired or, what a situation isn't. If you think it's a good gig and you like the pieces, or you like the things that they have, or the things that you can acquire with the assets that they have, you take the job. And he's just not built like that. And Dan Quinn is. And, a lot of people will point to, the collapse at the end of the season with the Cowboys and in the playoff game. And his time was up in Dallas. Like, he could have gotten a job 2 years prior, the year after that. He could have had a job, and he waited for the perfect opportunity. And Washington ended up being a perfect opportunity. And what I'm not going to do this year is sit here and sell y'all on 12-5 or 11-6 and none of that bullshit. I'm not gonna do that this year, okay? Because my view is so much bigger than that. Normally I would be sitting here telling you how, y'all are in trouble, this, that, and the third. I've been talking about busting the Giants' head to the white meat shows 2 times a year, and we still find a way to lose both games, right? Yeah, look, no, you're not gonna hear none of that from me this year. I'm gonna enjoy this ride, because this has been, I told y'all this last year, even in the midst of what was a miserable season with high expectations that were not met. I told y'all this in a moment. I said, this is going to be, you can't, like, the Daniel Snyder no longer being the owner was the equivalent of winning the Super Bowl. And unless you were a fan of this team, you couldn't understand what I was referring to. But I said, you can't make us feel bad about anything, because the future's bright. As long as he's not here, the dark cloud has been removed. Now the future's bright. And this offseason has been one of my most enjoyable. Like, I'm blissful as a fan right now. Like, I can't tell you the last time I felt this good. And it's not because I expect us to win 13 games. It's just because for the first time in over of a quarter century, listen to what I just said. For the first time in a quarter of a century, we actually have a functional, fully functional, efficient, professional NFL run organization. Top to bottom. Responsible adults are in the building, and they're making great decisions. From Adam Peters' hire first of all, from the ownership, Josh Harris, Magic Johnson, Mitchell Rails, all of those guys, to Adam Peters being hired, to Dan Quinn being hired, to all of the staff that's being hired, Cliff Kingsbury. We'll see what he ultimately ends up doing. I like the hire. Love Dan Quinn bringing on Joe Witt Jr. with him. That was a big get from Dallas and the rest of the guys. And because you bring in those staff members, you're able to get a guy like Bobby Wagner, right? You're able to get Zach Ertz to come to the Commanders. It was like a trickle-down effect. And this has been an excellent offseason. I'm looking forward to it. And I want to thank you, Bad Dog, for the losses last year.
For the what?
For the 2 losses.
Yeah.
Because without those, we don't get Jayden Daniels. You probably get him, right?
I don't think Jayden Daniels is ever going to be a Giant. I honestly don't. I don't think he fit what we do. I think Drake May was definitely the guy that they like because there was all the talk about him, mirroring Josh Allen. And we all know that Daboll and Shane love Josh Allen. So I feel like that was going to be the guy. Now, if Drake May wasn't there and Jayden Daniels was, maybe it's different. Where the hell did LB go, by the way? He just fell out of the stream.
Yeah, well, he was having technical difficulties anyway. So
I was just wondering what the hell was going on there.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what the Giants would have done. There was all the rumors that they tried to trade up to get Drake May. Who knows how much of that was real, how much of it wasn't. I mean, there's no way the Patriots are going to trade that pick anyway, because how are you going to sell your fan base and they got rid of Mac Jones, Belichick's not there, and you just get rid of a Drake May? How are you going to sell the fan base on that unless you plan on drafting J.J. McCarthy?
Right.
It didn't make a lot of sense. So the Giants, to me, were never going to get a quarterback this year because they did end up winning 6 games. It pissed some of the fan base off. But at the end of the day, man, you can't tell. Like, I always get a kick out of the guys that, we got to tank. I'm pissed off that we won. And I don't tell anybody how to fan, but you got to understand these guys, their jobs are on the line, right? Contracts are on the line. Coaching jobs are on the line. If you go out there and you quit and you say, to hell with this, we're going to try to lose, and then other teams watching you, why do we want that guy on our team? Like, why do we want a guy that's just going to give up and that's not going to try? Why are we going to go give that guy all that money if his attitude is, screw it, we've already lost a couple of games, now I'm just going to throw away the season? Professionals don't think like that. Fans think like that. Fans think about, we got to get this guy, we got to get that guy, we got to lose all these games. And by that time when we were out of it, I mean, I'm sitting there saying, I'm not too concerned if they lose, but I'm not going to root for them to lose. And if they win, I'm going to be happy. So I just let the chips fall where they may. I think the Giants had a pretty good offseason, and then we'll see how it turns out. But I like a lot of the moves that the Giants made this offseason.
All right. So talk about the moves this offseason made by the Giants and the ones that you like. And there were some staff changes. There were some personnel changes, obviously. So talk about the moves that they've made. Obviously, it was a massive trade in there and a massive contract handed out.
Yes.
You also added a quarterback that's squarely in the mix.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about all of that.
So I like what Joe Shane did this offseason because I feel like he addressed a lot of the needs. As much as the game has evolved into a passing league, the game is still one in the trenches. And I feel like the Giants addressed a lot of that. They go out and they get a run. They didn't overspend on guys. Like these these offensive guards get $100 million. Yeah. I don't think Runyon is a bad pickup. That's definitely an improvement over what we had. You hope Evan Neal can improve, but if he can't, you go out and you get Illuminor, who worked with Brasili with Oakland or with Vegas, I guess. Mm-hmm. So he works with him. He's a swing tackle. You move in the right tackle if Evan Neal struggles. So I feel like the Giants have a lot of I feel like they upgraded their offensive line. Brian Burns obviously is a huge addition because you look at the Giants front four and it's ridiculous. You got Dexter Lawrence, you got Kayvon Thibodeau, now you got Brian Burns to go with Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden. The Giants front seven is really good. And a guy like Shane Bowen is completely different from Wink Martindale. He's not blitzing half the time, 60% of the time. He wants to get there with his front four, with his front set. He doesn't want to bring corners and safeties and everything else. So I feel like that pass rush is going to be very important for the Giants. And I feel like adding a Brian Burns is huge because the Giants a lot of times couldn't get off the field on third down. And they couldn't get pressure without bringing extra guys. So you add like a guy like Brian Burns and you have Kayvon Thibodeau and then you got Dexter Lawrence. That's pretty damn good. And I love Bobby Okereke. I don't know how the hell that guy wasn't an all-pro. To be honest, he was unbelievable. So, Deonte Banks was fantastic last year. I like Tyler Nubin. I think that was a great pick, without question. Third round pick, I kind of would have went Cooper Beebe myself just to beef up the offensive line a little bit more. But I really couldn't argue with, what they did in the offseason. I liked it because, again, I think Joe Shane went back to the line of scrimmage, and even look at drafting Malik Neighbors. He plays in the line of scrimmage. And now you finally have – see, there's going to be no more excuses for Daniel Jones, right? People want to make the excuse he's never had a number one receiver, which he really hasn't. Offensive line sucks, and this offensive line may not be great. You hope JMS takes a step forward. You hope Evan Neal improves. You hope Andrew Thomas stays healthy. And you hope that Runyon is a big upgrade, which he should be. And you hope Illuminor is an upgrade. But now you got a guy that should be able to get quick separation. And he's a guy like an Odell Beckham that can take a 7-yard slant, 77 yards. This also opens it up for Wan'Dale Robinson, who really came out at the end of the year. So while the Giants didn't make huge moves outside of the Brian Burns trade, I kind of like what Shane did because I feel like he went back to basics instead of swinging for the fences and trying to take, a team that overachieved and kind of playing into the fool's gold. Well, we won 9 games a year ago and we went to the divisional round. Let's take a major swing of this and overpay some guys because we're right there. Right. I feel like he took a step back and said, let's build in the trenches. Let's build from the inside out. And let's get back to basics. Let's build a team the way you're supposed to build it instead of trying to go for a one-year wonder and sign all these massive free agents and get rid of draft picks and mortgage your future for a couple of big price free agents. You don't do that. You don't build your team with high-priced free agents. You build through the draft, and you fill when you get to that point, like the Eagles are, where they want to compete for a Super Bowl and they're close, or the Cowboys, or these teams that are constantly contending. That's when you go out and get those major pieces. But when you're 6 wins most seasons and you have an outlier season, you don't go out and give a guard $100 million and take it away from the rest of your team. I like what Joe Shane did. Brian Daboll had a tumultuous season last year, but I like Brian Daboll. I think Brian Daboll is the right – I feel like he's the right coach. I really do. And I think Brasillo is going to be much better. He can't be worse. I mean, our offensive line was terrible. We gave up like 86 sacks last year or something crazy. So, obviously, major question is going to be Daniel Jones' health. I feel like that's a huge question. He's certainly had a lot of injuries. And you go out and you get a guy like Drew Lock, who was, a first-round pick. And, maybe he is the guy. Maybe he's not. Who knows? But at least you have a backup that only costs $5 million. And if that's the case, if Jones goes down, at least you have a guy that can compete. You don't want to have to rely on Drew Lock, but it could be worse. We're not relying on Jake Fromm or Mike Glennon this time around. So you saw what Tyrod Taylor was able to do last year. You saw what Tommy DeVito was able to do. So I like what the Giants did. Again, not outside of Brian Burns, nothing major. Obviously, Malik Neighbors is a major addition, but I like what he did. I just feel like he went back to basics, built on a line of scrimmage, and I see LB changed scenery and.
Yeah, man. So, you have no idea how frustrated I just was. Yeah. So I have my iPad, this thing that I never use. So
he said
I don't know. I think it's like a Verizon outage in my area.
Yeah, said it's an outage. It happens. I've had it happen to me before. Yeah, where you just are at the mercy of, like, you're literally on a stream and boom, it's gone just like that.
They're like, well, we'll have you back up by 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do after this?
Right. Exactly. Like I don't need it at 3:30 in the morning, but
right.
Appreciate it.
My bad, guys. I'm back.
It's all good, man. Look, so my question to you, I got a couple questions. Did you overpay for Brian Burns? Like, he only has 1 double-digit sack season in his career. While I think he is a dynamic pass rusher, are we 100%? Like, you paid him as if he was like he was TJ Watt, right? You paid him that kind of money. Is he that kind of impactful player in your estimation?
Well, we got to see how he does in Rasheem Bowen. But the thing is, defensive ends, these pass rushers make an absolute fortune. It's the going rate. Everybody overpays. Everybody's quote unquote overpaying. because
Montez Sweat just got a deal from the Bears, and it wasn't even remote. He didn't even crack triple digits, right? Like, you can find quality pass rusher. The Eagles, I mean, his guy doesn't play, all 3 downs, but Montez Sweat signed a sub-$100 million contract. I'm like, I just struggle with guys getting that kind of money who haven't produced at that level. He got a Myles Garrett type.
Yeah, he did. He got a lot of money. Well, they obviously believe in him, but Brian Burns is extremely dynamic, and he's going to be a major part of what the Giants do without question. 5 years, $150 million is a ton of money. But like I said, I mean, all these guys are getting a ton of money. All of them are getting an absolute fortune, especially defensive ends. They make a fortune. I mean, when guards are getting $20 to $25 million a year, it just tells you where the market is. The market is very high in almost every position. Look at A.J. Brown just got $32 million a year, right? What did Trevor Lawrence just get? They're talking about giving Dak Prescott $60 million a year, which please do it.
Yeah.
But my God, I mean, the market goes up every year. You kind of sign them like pretty much a year ahead. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
So in 3 years, Brian Burns' contract will probably be in the middle of the road.
Absolutely.
Right? We'll see if he lives up to it. I mean, you always take a major risk when you give a guy a big contract. There's no question about that.
The difference is AJ Brown has produced.
Yeah, he's produced.
Right.
I mean,
what you're getting in AJ
question.
Brown. And that's the only question I have is you don't know. Like, Brian Burns has had injury concerns in his career. He has had years where he's been ultra productive. Well, 1 year when he was ultra productive, and then some other years where he was solid. Like last year, he was solid, but he wasn't a true difference.
He was on a terrible team last year too. I mean, they were awful.
They were,
so,
but
I mean,
we got Frankie Louvu. We got Frankie Louvu off of their team, and all the Panthers fans said you got the better of the 2 players. Frankie Louvu was to them. So
I honestly can't tell you. I don't watch the Panthers play. I mean, did anybody watch the Panthers play?
I did. I watched them. That's why I knew about some of the stuff that they had out there. I took one of their clearance items, and then I took another one of the items at the front of the store, and I feel really good about both of my purchases. So. We'll see.
I think the Brian Burns deal is going to pay off for the Giants.
I think it is too because Dexter Lawrence. I think that.
Right, and Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean,
I think.
I'm treating Kayvon Thibodeau like Bad Dog used to treat. Who did you used to talk about when you said he only had like 4 really good games? Daniel Jones in his rookie season, right? When you talked about Daniel Jones in his rookie season, and if you take away like 4 games where he was absolutely
Thibodeau definitely is hit or miss. He's inconsistent. He shows flashes of being a superstar, and then he kind of disappears. So I feel like adding a guy like Brian
wasn't that
Burns,
his rookie year though? Last year?
He's a mirage. He's a mirage.
I think he's really good. I just think he's got to be more consistent.
He doesn't sniff the Eagles quarterback. He doesn't sniff the Cowboys quarterback.
None of them do because their offensive lines are unbelievable.
If you that dude, you're gonna get pressure.
But getting a guy like Brian
is playing against the Eagles offensive, he gonna get.
Listen, I watched Kayvon Thibodeau. The stats don't tell the whole story. I mean, I've watched Kayvon Thibodeau again Thanksgiving a couple of years ago, dominated Dallas. The guy was in the backfield every time. And how many times has he held? He is held all the time. So listen, yes, there's definitely games that it's like, where the hell is he? And it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But I feel he's going into his 3rd year, right? So
I don't like the way he conducts himself. He conducts himself as if he's the best pass rusher in the league.
I think you have to have an edge, though. I feel like you have to have.
Yeah, there's a fine line between I'm the
dominance
man.
and arrogance. I understand.
No, he acts like his shit don't stink, but it's all good. We're gonna find out how good he is now.
We'll find out. Yeah, exactly.
He got a running mate. What about Drew Lock? Talk to me about. Is that a real competition there, or is Daniel Jones going to ultimately be the starter?
I think Daniel Jones is a starter if he's healthy. I don't think there's any competition. I don't think they brought in Drew Lock for competition. If Daniel Jones is ready to go week 1, he's going. He's the guy. You don't pay him all that money to bring in Drew Lock and have Drew Lock start. The Giants are going to find out what Daniel Jones is. But listen, if the Giants get off to an 0-4 start and Jones is bad, he could be yanked quickly. Because if the Giants plan on getting rid of him, he's got some injury clause in his contract, or they got to pay him a ton of money. They might just say, nope, we're not even going to take that chance. You sit down. We'll see what Drew Lock can do.
Yeah.
So I feel like over the course of the year, there may be a quick hook because Drew Lock is there. And in training camp, listen, Brian Daboll's made no bones about it. It doesn't matter where you pick, no matter what you're paid. If you outperform, you're going to get the job. I don't believe that's true, but you never know. If Daniel Jones really struggles and doesn't look really good, and Drew Lock does, maybe he is the guy because Daboll wants to win games. You don't care who he wins them with, which is why I like Daboll. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't really think it's a competition, though. I think Drew Lock has an opportunity because Jones's health concerns. But I think all things considered equal, Jones being 100%, he is the Giants starter. They improved the line. They got a dynamic wide receiver. Wan'Dale Robinson looks the part. You got a really speedy guy, and Jalen Hyatt. Darius Slayton has been very consistent. You went out there. You got Theo Johnson in the 4th round, who I think could be really good. I think it was a great pick for the Giants. He doesn't have excuses. I mean, they finally gave – he doesn't have a ton of great players, but this is the best offense Jones has had to work with, in my opinion, since he's got there.
Who's the running back?
Barkley, Devin Singletary. So, yeah, I mean, you lose something with Saquon. Let's not be – we're Giants fans, and I understand Barkley's had injury concerns, and I don't think Barkley is what he was 5 years ago. Who is? But obviously, Devin Singletary is not Saquon Barkley, okay? Yeah. But you got rid of a threat in the backfield, and if you have no offensive line, it doesn't really matter who your running back is. Barkley he's better than what we got, but without guys to block for him, it doesn't really matter. But with a guy like Malik Neighbors, he's pretty much one-on-one, or if he draws a double, it's going to open up for Wan'Dale Robinson. So you kind of got rid of Barkley, let him move, which I hate that he went to the Eagles, but I don't hate that he got paid. You want to get paid, get paid. I'm not going to knock the guy from getting money. But I feel like adding Malik Neighbors takes a little bit of the brunt away from losing that dynamic playmaker in the backfield. Now you got one in your receiving core. So, again, I do feel like this is the best offense Jones has had outside of Saquon Barkley. And let's face it, Barkley and Jones, if you look at the games they played together outside of 2022, they didn't play a lot together because one guy was hurt or the other guy was hurt. When they actually played together, they made the postseason. So we'll see. And there's a lot of questions with the Giants. I go in with tempered expectations. I feel like they'll be better than they were last year, but I'm like you, Louie. I'm not about to sit and go, we're going to win 12 games. Right. I don't feel like we're that good yet.
Yeah. The beauty of both of our situations is I feel like, I know this sounds crazy. I'm thinking, and we'll get to our predictions down the road, but I feel like the rest of the division is starting to kind of come back to us.
I agree.
I agree. Because for a minute there, it felt like, God damn, Philly and Dallas. I like, man, feel like Philly and Dallas are miles away, bro, and they're not slowing down, and they can't even see us in the rear view. I'm starting to look up in my windshield, and I'm like, damn, is that Dallas? Yeah, that is that. Shit, that's Philly right in front of them. Like, I can see them.
I don't know how you could feel that way. We made the playoffs 3 straight years. Like
both of y'all have, but neither one of y'all have gotten better. Like the Eagles roster, I think, is you could argue it might be better. Because I told you last year, I thought that your roster was not as good as it was the year you went to the Super Bowl. But I thought the coaching might be better. And then what it proved to be was the coaching was just as bad and the roster wasn't better. And that's why the results were what they were, right? I think you could be in a similar situation. Your roster might be better now. It might be back to that 2022 Super Bowl level. I think the coaching might stink, though. Like, there's no continuity there. You don't even like your offensive coordinator. You shouldn't like him, right?
I don't. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I don't like him.
Yeah. And Vic Fangio I think the league is caught up to him already. And I think,
but as far as Kellen Moore goes, I think what can save Kellen Moore is if he leans on Saquon Barkley. You have to run the ball early in the season, and I don't think he's going to do that.
I'm about to say, but that's not his track record. That's not how he operates.
Well, I'm not going to say that's not his track record because he has some good years with Zeke. You know what I mean? Zeke has had 1,200-yard rushing seasons under Kellen Moore, but you got it. The emphasis in the building has to be. I think that the Philadelphia Eagles need to make Saquon Barkley the focal point of the offense. I think if you make Saquon Barkley the focal point of the offense, you open up play action and things in the passing game come earlier. I think if you try to make the passing game the focal point of the offense, I think that's a mistake for Kellen Moore.
A former quarterback is always going to be a former quarterback at his core. You're not going to change the way that they view the game. He may give Saquon Barkley touches, but when it's all said and done, when it gets thick and it gets to those crunch time moments, he's going to throw the football. And that's ultimately what's going to determine your success is, can you have consistency and continuity in the pass game with Kellen Moore? Can you stay healthy? All of that good stuff, because that's what guys who are former quarterbacks a lot of times do. They lean on the thing that they know most, and that's quarterback play. They're going to throw the football.
Which is ridiculous to me, because it's like you didn't have to pay Saquon Barkley if you weren't going to like
use him,
make him some type of a workhorse in some capacity.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we just got to see how they view it. But also, hey, you ain't going to double down on AJ Brown if you ain't going to throw the ball. So it's what they value. Do you value winning, or do you value, you know what I mean, getting guys involved and keeping guys happy?
As a guy that watches the Eagles, and I watch them as much as I can, obviously being in the division, when I watch Eagles play, I always felt like they were way better when they ran the ball first. When you guys relied on the run, because nobody could stop your run. Your offensive line was great. Hurts could run the ball.
It's so different now.
Sanders could run the ball. Whoever the hell, Boston Scott, like all these guys were able to produce because you had such a great line. And when I felt like when you got away from it and just relied on the pass game and you became one-dimensional, it really hurt your offense. You become stagnant. Because when you're throwing on first down and all of a sudden it's 2nd and 10 or it's 3rd and 10, well, now the running games, you're not going to run the ball. So now you become one-dimensional. Where if you're 2nd and 4, everything is open. Like the entire playbook's open. So Hurts can run. You could throw a quick slant. You could throw a screen. You could run the ball again with the running back. You have a lot more to do on 2nd and 4 as opposed to 2nd and 10. So
I'm welcoming, but not to cut you off, I'm welcoming the creativity though. Like Jalen Hurts wasn't under center a lot last year. That's something that Kellen Moore is going to bring to the table. Dallas Goedert will get involved. Kellen Moore is a tight end guy. You know what I mean? In his passing game, you're going to see the running back catch the ball out of the backfield. That's something that the Philadelphia Eagles didn't do last year. Our style of play was one-dimensional last year. Our formations were one-dimensional. We did everything out of the same formation. Teams had a beat on it. So I think Kellen Moore is going to make things look different enough that we can catch some guys off surprise. We'll catch them by surprise. But I just don't want a situation to where we're pass happy. You got to run the ball, bro. You got to run the ball.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you still win the game in the trenches. And if you can run the ball, you're going to beat a lot of teams. I looked in the chat real quick, and I saw somebody say Wink is going to be the downfall of Brian Daboll. Wink's not.
He's not in New York anymore.
Wink's gone, so it's not.
And that was a power struggle right there, and he wasn't.
It was. That definitely was. I think both of those guys are very hard-headed and stubborn.
I don't think Wink was horrible, though.
I don't. I actually
like Wink. I like Wink, but I just don't. I don't think they saw eye to eye.
They didn't, because I'm gonna tell you what the problem was. Is most offensive-minded head coaches don't like over-aggressive defensive coordinators because you put me at a disadvantage. If you hit home, it's great, but if you come with cover 0 and you don't get there, it's a big play. More than likely, it's a touchdown. And so, offensive coordinators or head coaches that are offensive minded can't stand that. They rather you play bend but don't break defense before you give up.
That's what Patrick Graham used to do, especially when your offense is as bad as ours has been.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to come back when you give up a play because we weren't really explosive at all.
Right.
I'm hoping this year with a guy like Malik Neighbors and a healthy Wan'Dale Robinson and maybe Jalen Hyatt can develop a little bit more, that we do have some bigger plays in our offense. One thing that Giants fans that are down on Daniel Jones say, and I agree, and it's just amazing. The Giants fan base is very torn with this quarterback, kind of like Dallas fans are with Dak. Okay, you have guys that absolutely love Dak, and you have guys that absolutely hate him in that fan base. It's the same thing with us. I try to be very, people say you play both sides, and I'm like, yes, because I try to be unbiased. I'm just telling you what I see. I'm not going to criticize Jones if he doesn't deserve to be criticized, but I'm not going to make every excuse in the book if he plays like crap either.
Yeah.
When you saw Tyrod Taylor out there, you saw the Giants throw the ball deep a couple of times. And with Daniel Jones, the Jones people that just will not place any blame on him and say, oh, the offensive line was a lot better. I'm like, bro, we took Justin Pugh literally, he said, off the couch. He literally came off the couch and played left tackle. Yeah. And he was a right guard when he played with us, but he was a tackle first, then he moved to guard. He was playing left tackle off the couch. This is where offensive line was. And Tyrod Taylor was in there, and he threw the ball deep. Against the Eagles, the last game of the season, we saw Tyrod Taylor throw the ball very deep down the field. So,
Daniel Jones is
again, this could be Brian Daboll. This could be Brian Daboll's play calling as well. We don't know. When I did that stream of Comp Pistol, he's right. You don't know what the play call is. Maybe Daboll saying to Jones, be very conservative. And maybe Daboll, we see Daboll lays the wood to Daniel Jones and he screws up. So Daniel Jones may be walking around. We don't know, right?
Pause. Yeah, look, man. Daniel Jones is fresh buns out of the oven.
He is. He's trash. He's trash, bad dog.
Hey, listen, I gotta support him as long as he's my quarterback. Do I feel like he's the guy taking us to a Super Bowl? No. But at the same time, I tell Giants fans the reason that I get so frustrated with him is because, believe it or not, I see physical talent there. He's 6'5". I feel like he's got a stronger. Listen, you can laugh. I feel like he's got a stronger arm than people give him credit for. He's accurate and he can run the ball, but his processing speed sucks.
The mailman that just put the mail in my
He's slow. He's slow up here. And when you are a slow processor as a quarterback and you have a bad offensive line, that's a disaster. It's a total disaster. But you've seen games. Look at the Minnesota game. He can play. He's just not consistent. So that's what's so frustrating. You see these flashes of, oh my God, look at that. Where is this every game? Where's this aggression from Jones every game? Where's this confidence from him every game? And then all of a sudden he has a game where it looks like he's scared to death. So it's frustrating.
He plays like he plays like he.
Louie, I don't want to hear no laughing from you. Where's that NHO hat at? What happened to that thing?
I told y'all what happened.
What happened to that? I told you he sucked. I told you he was buns.
I'm telling you right now.
I told you he sucked.
Bad dog. Listen to me.
Day one.
Let me finish the Daniel Jones comment. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there with you. Daniel Jones plays the way he looks. Remedial. Okay. He looks like he's a little slow.
So did Eli, but Eli bowled out.
Hey,
that's a fact. That's a fact.
he did.
Eli,
but that's why they gravitate
towards
each other, right? Because I think they're very similar with their personality and how they, go. It's just Eli had a different gene than Daniel Jones.
I say it all the time, Louie. Rocky V, terrible movie, right? Terrible movie. But there's one part when Adrian tells Rocky, "I told you, you could give Tommy everything but your heart. He don't have your heart."
Yeah,
and it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
You can have Daniel Jones the same size as Eli, the same skill set as Eli, and he's more mobile than Eli. But you can't give him Eli's clutch gene or his toughness. You can't teach that.
Yeah.
You either have that or you don't.
Yeah.
So
Eli was a Manning, and Daniel Jones is not. And
correct.
That's the biggest.
Well, maybe we don't know.
No, but
he might be Eli's kid. We don't know.
The Mannings tried to tell us he was cut from that cloth on draft.
Yeah, nah. He wasn't.
I honestly think Daniel Jones is Eli's kid, but that's whatever.
Hey, so NHL, let's go there because I think I already addressed this. I can't remember, but I know I talked about it as it was unraveling last year. I was telling y'all Eric Bieniemy was the problem, right? I kept telling y'all that.
So why'd you get rid of him?
Because you get a new regime and that's not their guy. They didn't draft him, right?
Why didn't you keep him though? I mean, for a backup.
Yeah, but this is the thing. This is how you know he's talented. Seattle traded for him and gave us a 3rd round pick for him. If he's trash, you're not getting anything for him, right? Nobody wants your garbage. If you can't play, I'm not giving you a day 2 pick for a guy that can't play the game. So Seattle trading, and they said they had competition. That's why we got the 3rd round pick. He was like, we were so happy to get him because there were other teams that wanted him, which is why the price was so high.
I don't think he trash. I'm on record saying that.
Look, you've already said that. You've already acknowledged.
I don't think he trash.
He's not garbage.
I'm
just
trash.
telling you, if he had better coaching, you would have seen Sam Howell play at a high level. And I think he's got a shot to do that in Seattle. And I can't wait till he gets an opportunity there because he's got a ton of weapons. They got a better offensive line. They got a better running game. And I think they're going to have a better play calling situation that's going to fit.
He's not going to beat out Geno, though.
He's not. He shouldn't, and he shouldn't. Geno's an established quarterback in this league, Pro Bowl player. He shouldn't beat him out. But if anything happens, like Geno dealt with injuries last year, if anything happens to Geno, he should be ready to get in there and show everybody what he's capable of. But
San Francisco will pick him off 4 times, and at the end of that,
it ain't my problem no more, though. Whatever.
I know.
I'll be rooting for him from afar, but it ain't my problem no more. So ESPN recently had a article come out where they ranked the linebackers in the NFL. Okay. And they ranked the Washington Commanders first in the league, not in the division, in the entire NFL. I think, let me pull up the tweet and tell you where
Wagner
everybody
got
else.
a lot to do with that, though. That
Huh?
Wagner edition.
Of course it does. But it's him and Frankie Louvu, though, right? And then the way they kind of rank. And then I seen 3 different publications that had us as the number 1 ranked linebacking core in the NFL. I'm still wrapping my brain around that because we
over
were
San Francisco.
Yeah, over San Francisco. Now, here's the biggest thing: is while we were over San Francisco, one, you got to remember that you have to remember that Dre Greenlaw is coming off of a torn ACL that happened in the Super Bowl, so he's not the same guy right now, and they don't even know if he'll be ready to start the season off. But they don't have any depth. That's where we kind of had them beat out. Was they didn't have the depth that Washington has, because Jamin Davis is no longer a starter, and he's got starting experience and he's played well in the NFL.
Trash.
I mean,
Bust.
look, you could call them. Look, I won't disagree. Bust is harsh. It's harsh, but he's a first round pick.
You try to tell me Chase Young wasn't no bust. You said I was harsh for that all them years.
No. I told you we were gonna see, because Chase Young, like a lot of people were calling him a bust after year 2 when he didn't do anything and then he got hurt. And you were one of those people. And I was like, well, I choose not to do that because it's early and you want to give a guy a chance. So I needed to see what he looked. He, for me, was I could see he wasn't built the way that I thought he was built. When he got hurt and he started talking that football don't define me shit and all of that, I was like, uh-oh. You ain't about that life. Like, you already getting defensive and you already telling us that when you come back, you're not going to be the guy that, we need you to be. Let me see if I can find this tweet. Yeah, so in this tweet,
I mean, it's hard, it's hard to disagree with that, though, man, that y'all got the number 1 linebacker core. I mean, obviously we got to see it on the field,
right?
But Louvo and Wagner, man, that's a different, and I mean different combination, bro. We ain't seen that type of combination at linebacker in the division in a minute, bro.
The Giants are 18th, the Cowboys are 25th, and the Eagles are 30th. I
think they got us low. I think they sleeping on the Devin White edition. I think they got us low.
So talk to me about that edition, Devin White. Are you really sold on this dude? Because Tampa Bay fans, they 2 years ago, I had Tampa Bay fans telling me, man, this dude don't, play ball. He don't hustle. Like, we know when this dude is locked in, he might be the fastest linebacker in the NFL. The explosion that he plays with when he is dialed in is crazy. But the problem is this man takes plays off. He freelances. He's all over the place, which is why he got benched last year in favor of a 5th round linebacker. So talk to me about that acquisition. Obviously, he was in a contract year last year and didn't do what he needed to do. He's in a contract year again because y'all only signed him to a 1-year deal. So he's got to prove it. I've seen you defending him on social media. Talk to me about that acquisition.
Well, it's not so much defending him. It's so much of what else are you going to do? He's the best option. He's the best option right now because he is a guy that was, a top 10 linebacker at one point in the National Football League for one season. You know what I mean? He showed you that he could be at the top of the mountain. I think he needed a change of scenery. Hopefully it pays off for him. But he does have, a little tarnished, little history as of late. You mentioned the freelancing and taking the plays off and things of that nature. But he's still, I think, 25 or something like that. He's still fairly young. I think playing around other guys that have reached the Super Bowl and things of that nature could pay dividends. He's been in the Super Bowl. He's won a Super Bowl, right, with Brady?
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl in 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, he's back around guys who got the same goal in mind. I just think the change of scenery is going to help him out. He was our best option. I wanted Wagner, but I'm not mad at Devin White for the price you got to pay for it. You know what I mean? Me defending him is some more along on the lines of me not believing in Nakobe Dean as well. I think Nakobe Dean is just not good. You know what I mean? I catch flack for that daily, but
you say you don't think he's good?
Roster. Nah, I don't think Nakobe Dean is.
Oh man, I'm glad you came around because it took you a while, man. You kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting.
Right.
And he was like, I can't wait no more. This dude is trash.
Damn, it got dark out here quick.
I'm about to say they said turn the porch light on, LB. Turn the porch light on.
I gotta go tell my old lady to flip that switch for me.
Yeah.
But shoot, I mean, y'all can see me, man. Stop doing that, man.
Yeah, look, they over here trying to get you. Let me give a quick shout out to the 675 people that we got in the chat right now, man.
Yeah,
we really appreciate y'all.
Super Friends, because we back. We are back.
We definitely appreciate.
We got to get the 9,500 subscribers.
Our
right there.
Our linebacking core, man, it just was bad, and I think Devin White is the perfect addition, man. In some strange reason, I think Devin White is the perfect addition. We lack sideline speed, sideline to sideline speed. I'm not saying Devin White is the best in coverage, but he definitely could blitz some gaps with his speed. He could run with some guys. He could make some plays, you know. The fact that Zach Bond is emerging as his running mate lets you know just how bad we were. Zach Bonds was a special teams guy for the Saints.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, N'Kobe Dean should be the running mate, but he ain't making no waves. I think Jeremiah Trotter Jr. end up beating them out, but it is what it is. I have no faith in N'Kobe Dean, man.
So, who is? My question is, Zach Bond start? That's your other linebacker?
He's getting reps as a one in OTAs in training camp.
Oh yeah. Y'all like 30, bro. Y'all right?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like we got to prove it wrong. We got to prove it wrong, man. We got to prove it wrong.
And Shaq Leonard not still with y'all, is he?
He was never with us.
Yeah, y'all traded for him.
Oh, you talking about Darius Leonard last year?
Yeah. Well, his name is Shaq Leonard. He changed his name to Shaquille Leonard. Well, he said call him Shaquille Leonard.
Your name Darius Leonard, bro. That's what I know him as. But
yeah,
no, he ain't with us, bro. That was a 1 year deal.
That was 1 year. Yeah. Oh,
Buns,
he did.
Buns.
Yeah.
When he came over last year,
he was so excited about that when y'all got
him. I was excited, bro, because you know, Buns.
Hey, so Bad Dog, to catch you up, we're first. You guys are 18th at linebacker in the rankings. The Cowboys were 25th and the Eagles were 30th. Do you agree with the Giants being 18th in the league at linebacker?
I don't know how the Cowboys are. I mean, it depends on the. I always get confused with positions, like who the hell is an actual position, who's not a position. Like Kayvon Thibodeau is considered a linebacker, but he's an end. But you know, they're hybrids, and it's tough to tell. Listen, I like we got Brian Burns, we got Thibodeau, we got Bobby Okereke, we got Mikey McFadden.
Are y'all playing a 3-4? Is that your base?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I would imagine. Yeah, we play 3-4s. Well, who knows? I really don't know what his scheme is, but I want to say it's a 3-4. Because Burns and Thibodeau are going to be out there. And that's what I mean. Like, what are they really? Plus, a big, question mark, and he's been injured most of his career, is Azeez Ojulari. I feel like the Giants' linebacker room is really good, but they're the Giants, you know? So they're not going to get any respect until they win games. I don't see how we're 18th. I don't expect to be first or top 5, but I would think the Giants would be closer to the top 10. I also don't know how the hell the Cowboys are 30th. It's just
25th. They're 25th.
Sorry, the Eagles are 30th.
Yeah.
But I don't understand. I mean, that's the thing. Is Micah Parsons considered a linebacker or is he an end? Like, what is his position? Like, to me, that's just, it is what it is. But I just look at the damn front seven. That's the way I look at it. In front seven, I think the Giants are top 10 as far as their front seven goes. When you add all of our linebackers and you add a guy like Dexter Lawrence, I feel like it's a really good front seven. And I feel like that's why they went out and did what they did. I feel like that's why they traded for Brian Burns. But,
so
let me see if I can find this porch light, man, for everybody.
They crushing you in the comment section about your life.
Yeah, I saw Metaphor said something was like LB's internet out of service.
I don't know what's going on with my internet, man.
So, best position group on your teams. What's the best position group for you, Bad Dog, on your team?
It's our linebacker. I don't think there's any question. I mean, I like our front three, but Dexter Lawrence makes everything great. But it's got to be our linebacker core. It's got to be Okereke, McFadden, Thibodeau, and Brian Burns. Mm-hmm. It's got to be. It's definitely our linebackers. Now, I think our wide receiving core could surprise people. It's very young. It's a very young core, and you got a veteran in Darius Slayton. I feel like it could be really good. But I don't think there's any question. It's not our offensive line. I think our wide receiving core has a lot of potential, but it's certainly not proven. I think our secondary has questions. I love Dexter Lawrence, but the other two guys up front aren't really going to dominate. So it's our linebacker core. I definitely think that those 4 guys are by far our best. And again, you look at the depth. I still have hope for Isaiah Simmons. He's 26. I mean, he really didn't have a position. That's a problem. He really doesn't have a position. But I feel like there's a lot of talent. You're not picked 8th overall if you don't have talent. And, again, Azeez Ojulari's got a ton of talent. He just can't stay healthy. So I feel like that's our linebacker core. I think that's the best part of our group or our team is our linebackers.
What about you, LB? Best
skill
part of
players.
Your skill players. You talking about wide receivers?
Players. Yeah, wide receivers. If you want to throw Dallas Goedert in there, Saquon Barkley, I think it's the skill guys. Obviously, I think we got one of the best wide receiver cores in the National Football League.
Who's your third receiver?
I think it'll end up being Aeneas Smith, the rookie that we
kid
drafted.
you just drafted out of
But we
Texas
did get
A&M?
the guy that used to play for the Giants. What's his Paris Campbell?
Okay.
Yeah, he's buns.
No, he's a good third option. We ain't gonna
Bro,
do
he's
that.
buns. He
He's a
sucks.
good third
Buns.
option.
He's buns. He's terrible.
He's
Buns.
a good third option.
Cheeks.
Unbelievable.
Ass.
Fresh out the oven.
Fresh out the
Devontae
trash
Parker-
can.
Devontae Parker retired. He ain't want none of that smoke.
Terrible. Paris Campbell's
He
nothing.
went-
At
he
one
went
one year he had
out of the
60 catches.
competition.
He didn't do anything in Indianapolis either. Not good.
But yeah, man, I mean, I like our skill guys, man. I think our skill guys are the ones.
For me, it's without question, it's linebacker. It's crazy because we went without good linebacker play for almost a decade. And then in one offseason, Adam Peters comes in and puts emphasis on improving a position that had been terrible for us. And what's crazy is with the Bama wall of Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne, you don't maximize those guys if you don't have quality linebacker play, right? What they can be as run defenders and penetrators and things of that nature. And to finally see them invest the type of resources into a position that needed it, I think it could elevate. I expect the defense to carry this football team and give us a chance to be in ball games. I don't know if it's ultimately going to win us games, but it's going to keep us in a lot of ball games this season. I don't want to neglect Dallas because they were so quiet, crickets in the offseason.
They had no money.
They were
no
broke.
money.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens when you
We
went
gotta
for it.
do this. I do this daily.
I know you do. I told you, you wake up, you grab your phone, you grab you some breakfast, and you sit down at your table and you find a Cowboys fan to troll, right? That's
But
like
this the thing.
that's what you do every day.
But this the thing though. I lie on the Giants sometime. I lie on the Commanders sometime. I have not told a lie about the Dallas Cowboys my entire life. Everything I say about the Dallas Cowboys is true. It's just the facts. Think about it, man. They didn't do anything in the offseason. They're forced to be hyped up about, who was it, Kendricks? It's like 58 ass. You know what I mean? Dak is supposed to make $58 million a year this year. They can't even pay CeeDee Lamb. They can't play Micah Parsons. You know what I mean? They're in a horrible, horrible situation no matter how it pans out. $60 million to Dak Prescott? I think if he even is demanding that, I think he's a selfish guy. What the
Give
hell
it to
make
him.
you think?
Give it to him.
Listen, I want them to get it too because I know it's going to cripple them. They're going to have Michael Parsons. They're going to have CeeDee Lamb. They're going to have Dak Prescott. All of them guys are going to get their money. And they're going to have a bunch of people from The Walking Dead, extras from The Walking Dead playing the rest of the positions because they're not going to have any money. You know what I mean? But I think they're in a lose-lose situation, man. You pay Dak Prescott $60 million. It's like, for what? You paying $60 million for a guaranteed exit out of the second round? Like, who in the hell don't know what they already getting out of that fan base? They're delusional, man. They're delusional.
Dak
need to take 45 and see.
He's not gonna do. He's not gonna do it though because
he ain't gonna do that.
He
but
has
that's
the Cowboys.
The correct play.
He's got the Cowboys by the scrotum. Like, by them not paying him early, right, and getting it done, or making some sort of decision, them going into this last year, they can't franchise tag him, right? So, because they've already done that. So they have to make a decision. And if he's not re-signed, there's just dead money sitting there that they can't use, right? So you're screwed if you don't re-sign him. if he goes and signs somewhere else, you're on the hook for like, I think it's like 40 or 50 something $million. You know what I mean? In dead cap as he plays for another team. So you almost feel obligated to bring him back. He's not going to sign for anything that doesn't make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL because he's in that position of power. And so they are in a tough spot. This is why you traded for Trey Lance, right? So that you could move on from, you had an exit strategy away from Dak. Like, if you're in the Cowboys, you need to be playing the hell out of Trey Lance this offseason, in the preseason in particular, which the Cowboys usually don't play their starters a whole hell of a lot in the preseason anyway, to see if this guy can play. Like, you need to figure out if he can do it, because if you can't afford to pay Dak what it's going to cost him. And this is a good problem to have, by the way. Like, that means that they've drafted well. When you have guys like CeeDee Lamb and Michael Parsons that you have to pay, and eventually you're going to have to pay. They already paid Trayvon Diggs. They're going to have to pay Deron Bland if he continues to play at the level that he's been playing at. You know, they're going to have to continue to pay these guys. They always, Trey Smith has been playing well for them at guard and tackle. I wonder if he's going to kick outside now that there's no more Tyron Smith. He's been traded, or he's gone to the Jets. So you're going to have to continue to pay guys. They've had to make some tough decisions. We'll see what happens in Dallas. That's an interesting dynamic there. I want to ask about the coaches real quick, and then we'll transition. So Sirianni, what would it take for him to get fired? Like, if you guys make the playoffs again and you win a playoff game this time, is he fired if you don't make it to the NFC Championship game?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. If you start slow, he should be fired.
You know, it's interesting with Mike McCarthy. He's gone 12-5 3 years in a row, but he doesn't feel safe to me, right? Like, it feels like this is NFC Championship or bust for him as well. Like, if they don't make it to their first NFC Championship since 1995, he's going to get fired. That's what it feels like, which is crazy.
It's unfortunate for him because he's not really the problem.
I mean, yeah,
he's not the problem, man. The problem
is probably
the Dallas Cowboys is the playoffs, man. It's Dak in the playoffs, bro. Yeah. And you know, Cowboys fan, you know, I hate to drag y'all while y'all don't have a representative. I don't hate to drag you whenever I lied. I love it with every fiber of my being.
I was gonna say, you drag him every day. LB, what the hell's the difference? I know.
The truth, though, bro. The dude don't deliver. He don't deliver, bro.
He don't.
They went punt, interception, the first four, pick six for the first four drives against the Packers. That's not Mike McCarthy's fault.
Dak has playoff anxiety.
Yeah,
it's hard to watch too. It's not as a fan, you know, a family member.
It's performance anxiety.
But it's
you need a blue chew.
It's like, wow, he really is tensing up in the most critical moment. They should have beat the 49ers 2 years ago and got to the NFC Championship game. They were better than the 49ers. And he didn't play well. He was awful in that game. They lost that game because of him.
He had the ball in his hand that game. 5 minutes left to go.
Yeah.
Down 5 points.
Yeah.
Punt.
Yeah. He's just not built for the post.
Do you know what really made me look at him different? I always knew he was ass and when it mattered most. But this should really make me look at him different. He gonna say we got going late. Bro, y'all was down 28-0. What is you? We got going late. I'm like, get the hell out. What?
Yeah.
Bro,
yeah.
He wouldn't last in Philly 8 years and be expecting the biggest bag in NFL history for 2 playoff wins. It just don't make sense to me, bro. He need to be humbly going to the Jones family saying, I could come back for 48. Let's pay CD. Let's give it a big go. I can come back for 48 annual per year. You know what I mean? Let me leave some money on the table to get some guys paid. But he about himself, bro. He gonna be a Denver Bronco.
What about Brian Daboll, Bad Dog? Is he in jeopardy? It felt like there was a little quiet conversation about him this offseason, but it never felt like anything that would materialize. Plus, the GM is his guy, so I don't expect it to be a situation where I didn't bring you here. You're not my guy. I'm going to get rid of you. feels like he's got a little of a longer leash per se. But does this feel like a big season, or are you still like, hey, until he gets his quarterback, he's really not in any danger in New York?
The way I look at it, well, as far as like getting their quarterback, they kind of did. They paid him, so that kind of is
that was a gift. And
I know it was circumstantial. I understand that, but they gave him the money. They could have went a different direction. They could have just played with a bridge gap guy. They didn't. But to answer your question, no, I don't think Daboll, unless the Giants are like 2-15,
which they
I don't see it happening. This is his third year. This is the thing, and I know the NFL is a what have you done for me lately league. Brian Daboll won a playoff game with absolutely nothing. People say Daniel Jones sucks. Okay. Who is he? They have Barkley. Okay. Saquon Barkley can't win a playoff game by himself. Like, they can't get to the playoffs and win a game with Barkley. Who is he throwing to? Isaiah Hodgins, Daniel Bellinger, Darius Slayton. This was our offense.
Yeah.
And we were finding ways to win games. They overachieved. Brian Daboll did something that the Giants hadn't done since their last Super Bowl, and that was win a playoff game. How quickly we forget, because last year was an absolute disaster, and it got off to a disaster starting and lost 40-0 to the Cowboys.
Right.
Okay, so that was magnified. Opening night, prime time, Dallas, shredded.
Yeah.
Shredded. That was actually probably the most viewed post-game video I've ever done, because I talked a lot of shit, and I had to eat a lot of shit after losing that game the way we did. But like I said, unless it's just an epic collapse and everybody's healthy and the players quit on him, I think he's safe, because last year you saw they never gave up. They never stopped playing for him. And I think that goes a long way. We're winning games with an undrafted guy from Illinois who is our third string quarterback, and we beat the Packers who won a postseason game.
Who were within 5 minutes of going to the NFC Championship game.
The Giants never quit on Daboll. And I think that more than a win-loss record last year speaks volumes about how much they believe in him. So, like I said, and unless Jones is healthy, everybody's healthy, and everything is the way it should be, and they just end up going 2-15 or 3-14, I can't see him getting fired. If they go 6-11 again, or 7-10, and they're more competitive and you can see improvement, I think he's okay. I just can't see the Giants making another move, because if you got rid of Daboll, you're going to have to get rid of Shane. And I just don't think they're going to do that. You have to be a little bit more patient. This team was terrible when they took it over. They were in a terrible cap situation. They hadn't won a playoff game in 10 years. Nobody expected them to do anything in 22, myself included. They beat a lot of good teams. True, they had to come back, but they beat the Ravens that year. They beat the Packers. They won a playoff game that year. Yeah. They found ways to win. So I feel like Daboll's safe. I don't think he's going to be on the hot seat. I think he's got at least they gave Gettleman 4 years.
Yeah. And
I feel like, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Daniel Jones is a world beater or anything, but when you look at the situation he's been put in, and he's done excuses, I mean, he's had 3 head coaches. He's had God knows how many offensive coordinators. He has to consistently learn a new offense, it seems, every year, every other year. So I don't think you want to do that again. I don't think you want to keep turning over coaches and GMs. It's not the way you build a winning team. There's no cohesion there. And then what player wants to go to a team that constantly has to change over a coach every other year?
Right.
When there's no consistency. You can't build a winner that way. Then I get as frustrated as anybody when it comes to my team losing, but I feel like he's safe. I don't feel like you can get rid of Brian Daboll. I still have a lot of faith in him. I feel like he's the right coach for the job. I feel like the Giants have a lot more talent this year than they've had in previous years. Hopefully they stay healthy. We'll see how it turns out. Can we compete with Dallas and Philadelphia right now? Probably not, but we're closer. I feel like we're closer. Well, listen, we beat the Eagles last year. We have to find a way. Dallas kicks our ass. Dallas kicks our teeth down our throat. They really kick our ass. Okay.
Which is why I'm excited.
But Philadelphia has some crazy mojo or something. Like the Giants will have them beat, and then somehow the Eagles find a way to win. The Eagles have kicked our ass a couple times, but Dallas dominates us. Like we never have a chance against them.
That's why I feel like our Giants drought is about to be over because Dan Quinn just knows how to kick y'all ass. Period. His defense,
but he had the players in Dallas.
I think he's gonna have.
Them came over to
about
to
this.
DC.
I think he gonna have enough pieces. The only thing I worry about is the secondary. But if you can get to Daniel Jones, if you can speed him up, which is Dan Quinn's specialty, getting to the quarterback, you can force Daniel Jones into some bullshit.
I mean, I'm not going to deny that.
You're gonna be watching quarterbacks.
It's not like our offense. It's not like we're beating you because of our offense. Right. It's not like we wouldn't beat the Commanders because of our offense.
Right. Well,
it's our defense.
You did last year in the second game. Danny, what the hell? DeVito had like
Tommy DeVito. Yeah. Tommy DeVito tortured.
I'm about to say,
hey, yeah.
Where's he at? Where is he at now? Yeah, it's 15.
He's on our team still. He's still their string guy.
Yeah, he's still there.
Are you good with Dan Quinn, Louie?
Oh,
obviously we know he ain't going nowhere, and that's not the guy you wanted. You wanted that guy from
Ben Johnson. Look, man,
you wanted Ben Johnson.
So you were going. I talked about this when you were going, but I can reiterate this. He was the guy we didn't know we wanted but needed, right? We didn't want, but we actually needed. So Ben Johnson showed us his true color. He's not an alpha, right? He's not an alpha. Like he wants a ready-made team. Like if y'all fire Nick Sirianni, he wants to go to Philadelphia next year. Like that's the kind of setup he wants. He wants a team that he thinks he can go to and win. If Andy Reid retires tomorrow, he wants to go to Kansas City. Like that's what he wants. He doesn't want to try to build something. So
yeah,
this was never the destination for him. And after seeing what Dan Quinn has built from a staff perspective and the culture that he is ingrained already in Washington in such a short period of time, I couldn't imagine another coach coming in here. Like he was the perfect hire for us to turn this thing around. And
man, you talking about giving somebody the keys, Lou. He starts signing people. He starts spending bread.
Yeah. And you know
I'm
what? We haven't even spent a lot of money. That's the crazy part. We still have amongst the most cap space in the league. It's just been shrewd moves and you know, guys that fit what he wants to do. And I just think everything that he embodies, they brought on board. And I predicted a lot of the signings that they were going to make, and even some of the draft picks, because there is a player that fits the DNA profile of a Dan Quinn defender, a Joe Witt Jr. defender. And they went out and got those guys, you know, Jeremy Chin and Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louie.
Y'all gonna sweep Dallas this year.
I hope so. I mean,
I do too.
We went 0-6 in the division, so we can't be any worse in the division than we were last year, right? Like we gonna beat some teams in this division. I'm looking to take baby steps, right? I just look for 3 wins in the division. I don't care how I get them. You know, I'd prefer to get at least one up off of everybody. But if I swept somebody, hey, more power to us, and hopefully that means we win in 4 because I want to get at least one off of everybody. But just get 3 wins in the division. Start working, get back to respectability. And I think this is going to be a fun season. I'm going to enjoy this season. I don't have, tremendous expectation. I'm just going to enjoy the ride. This has been the most incredible offseason as a fan, which is crazy because normally incredible off seasons come with incredible expectations, which I don't have right now. I know we're building something that can be sustainable, and I like the direction. Obviously, all of that hinges upon Jayden Daniels and whether he's good or not. But all of the pieces that they're adding and what they're trying to build, I think there's sustainability in all of it. Even the staff, even the front office, everything is different in Washington right now. There's a different buzz, a different vibe. It just feels really good to be a Commanders fan right now. But what is the biggest offseason acquisition, non-draft related, for all of our teams?
Wait, I ain't done with you. I got more questions about the Commanders.
Yeah.
So do you think y'all did enough on the offensive line for your rookie quarterback?
That's one of the big question marks going into camp. Like, we drafted a 3rd-round tackle / guard. He's in a competition for the left tackle position with a guy that we trust to start, but we don't know if he's capable of playing consistently for 17 games. He's been a a career swing tackle, but anytime he's been pressed into action, he's been really, really good, like really solid, right? But really solid as a guy that can come in and play for 2 to 4 weeks is different than playing for 17, right? So we don't know if we have, the left tackle position solved. We signed a guy in Nick Allegretti from the Chiefs to play left guard, but he's, again, much like the swing tackle I just talked about, he's a career backup. Now, he was pressed into action in the Super Bowl, and he played with a broken something. He did something in the Super Bowl and played through it and was fantastic. And Chiefs fans are like, yo, anytime he had to play, he was really good. So again, another guy that when he's gotten opportunities, he's played well, but that's in, small sample size. Can he do it for an extended period of time for 17 games? We'll find out.
Be the guy.
Tyler Biadasz, we signed him from Dallas as the center. He's solid. Sam Cosmi is rounding into one of the best guards in the NFL. So we feel really good about him. We'll pay him next offseason if he plays like he did last year. Sam Cosmi, right guard. Okay. He's rounding into one of the best guards in football. I saw like 3 different rankings. Pro Football Focus, which I hate. I'm not a PFF guy.
I'm not either.
Yeah. But they had him ranked 3rd in the league in terms of guards. So he was phenomenal last year. And then right tackle stinks. But look, you can't fix everything in one offseason. It's Andrew Wiley. He is what he is, right? So at the end of the day, that is going to be a question mark. And I don't think it's going to change. It's going to be something that we're going to have to circumvent. We're going to have to run the ball, quick pass game. Jayden Daniels, a threat as a runner, is going to have to keep a Kayvon Thibodeau from just rushing in blindly, right? Keep a Michael Parsons from being aggressive. I remember a couple of seasons ago in 2022, y'all played Dallas on a Sunday night early in the season, and Dallas's defense was without Dak, right? And they were winning games with what's your boy name?
Cooper
Rush. And the defense was playing out of its mind. And Michael Parsons had gotten off to this crazy start. And you know how y'all neutralized him? Y'all ran read option.
Running at him.
Yeah, y'all ran read option. He had to wait to see what y'all were going to do. And then off of that, y'all were able to go RPO and get the ball out. And so if we can do something like that to neutralize guys that can be problematic, I think we'll have a shot offensive line wise. But that's one of the things that we go into camp saying.
I don't know, man.
Jayden Daniels,
man, but I think Jayden Daniels is the best quarterback out there.
Does his size scare you though? His lack of size. I mean, he's pretty wiry. Like he's lean, like he's thin. I mean, he doesn't weigh a lot. Does that worry you at all?
Nah, you saw the cartoonish hits he took last year, right?
This is the NFL.
It's the NFL. At the end of the day,
it's different here. The speed is different. The guys are different. The defense.
He's never.
Bryce Young can take them hits. I think he can.
He never missed a game in college. I don't worry.
Neither did Barkley. I mean,
but it's different. It's different playing. First of all, Barkley is a finely tuned athlete. He's one of those guys that's a Porsche that constantly is in the shop, right? He's tightly wound. Jayden Daniels is a natural athlete, and I think guys with that rubbery, wiry frame, they're the ones that generally don't get hurt.
RG3 got wrecked. He was wiry.
Yeah, but he was a track guy playing football. It was different for him.
But it's the same. He's the same size. He just wasn't as
yeah,
tall.
but the build isn't the same as what I'm telling you. You're thinking about Jayden Daniels is 6'4", Robert Griffin III is 6'2". It's the different.
I know, but they're both really lean.
Jayden is closer to Devontae Smith than RG3. And those guys
and Devontae doesn't get hurt because he's got that wiry, rubbery frame. I know what you're saying. Like, it's the NFL, is more physical. He's gonna have to protect himself. Yes, that's something that he's got. But am I worried? No, I'm not.
No, I mean, it's fair. It's definitely fair. Do you worry about him being able to see? I like the Giants' schedule. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna. We'll talk about that as we get closer to the season. But I like the fact now weeks 3 through 8 for the Giants are it's a gauntlet. Yeah. But the first 2 weeks, the Giants get 2 rookie quarterbacks. Yeah. So I feel like they have a good opportunity because these guys have to adjust to the NFL. The Giants having a really good pass rush. I feel like they have a good chance to win the games, not because our offense is going to light anybody up, but I feel like the defense could really confuse these rookies. And you know that the NFL, I'm glad we're not playing Dallas week 1 for a change. I hate that we play the Eagles every year he played in the last week of the season. I would like the
Yeah.
game to actually mean something.
I hate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but you knew they had to do it because all the talk about McCarthy going to the Giants, he ends up going to the Vikings. So you know that they had to, do that. And I already know if Minnesota, if he has a game where
He's not, you know, he's not starting, right? Week 1.
You don't think
No,
McCarthy's starting week 1?
I'm telling you right now, Sam Darnold, they believe in Sam Darnold. They've
Why?
already
I'm
named
talking about buns.
They
I've
named him,
been saying he's buns since he was drafted.
they already named him QB1.
How many teams has Darnold been on since he got drafted? 4? 5?
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, Carolina, San Francisco, the Jets, and now
So all right, so
so
4.
Yeah, and the Vikings.
I feel even better now.
Yeah,
Darnold starting?
they're starting Sam Darnold. I mean,
I was gonna say, if McCarthy
unless
started,
there's-
against us and tore the Giants up, I wouldn't have to. I couldn't be on Twitter. I could already see
yeah,
the massacre coming. Good. I hope they do start Sam Darnold. That'd be great.
he might bless
I feel
y'all.
even better now.
He might bless y'all. You never know.
I'd be more worried about McCarthy blessing us than Darnold.
Oh no, because then you'd have a problem on your hands. You'd have to answer a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Did you have any more questions?
No, I don't.
Okay, so biggest offseason acquisition, and then we'll get to the comment section. Biggest offseason acquisition, non-draft related for your teams is, we'll start with you, Bad Dog. Biggest offseason acquisition for you. Your
Brian
Giants.
Burns, no question. Brian Burns, hands down.
What about you, LB?
CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Bringing him back was massive.
Bringing our ball hog back. You know what I mean? That was the biggest one, man. We struggled in safety. People was having their way with us. We were scared to tackle. Yeah, Gardner-Johnson for sure.
He definitely brings a different attitude to y'all. Like,
right.
He should have never been gone. I don't really remember what happened. I know he thought he was worth a little bit more. Y'all offered him a deal, and then he had to take a 1-year deal with Detroit. It didn't work out the way that he thought it was going to work out, but he should have never been able to leave.
I mean, he's been in two NFC Championship games in a row.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean?
He ain't had nothing to do with the last one, though.
Yeah, he
was hurt most of the season, and then I think he got hurt in the playoff game too. He picked off Baker Mayfield, though. He was talking shit to Baker, and then picked his ass off, and then tossed him the ball.
Yeah, man. I'm just in awe of his attitude already coming back, man. He said something along the lines, and OTAs was like, "I'm not here to be nobody's friends. I'm not here to be friends with nobody. I'm here to set the tone and win a championship."
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, damn, that's talking like a guy who got his eyes set on the prize. You know what I mean? So Gardner-Johnson for sure. And I think guys like Reed Blankenship are going to gravitate towards that. They're going to play better. You know, drafting the cornerbacks that we drafted, Cooper DeJean, I'm a fan of him. I think we're going to have a little mini no-fly zone, man.
I mean, we're going to see. You got to get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
You got to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, we're going to have a little mini no-fly zone.
For me, it's the two linebackers. I couldn't pick one because even though I think LOUIE is going to have the bigger impact on the field from a production standpoint, I think he's going to be phenomenal. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowler this year. The way Dan Quinn is going to use him is going to be crazy. He might have double-digit sacks when it's all said and done. But you can't underscore the impact of a Bobby Wagner. Like, the leadership that he brings. I know he's not the same Bobby Wagner he was 5 years ago, but he still led. I think he had the most tackles.
He led the league in tackles last year. At his age,
and so he's still that guy from that perspective. Nah, I don't want him running 25 yards down the field up the seam with Dallas Goedert. Nah, I don't want him doing that. But can I still trust him to be a dog around the line of scrimmage, a leader that's going to get everybody lined up? And I can't tell you how many players have been like, yo, his leadership qualities are impeccable. Like, he's talking, he's getting everybody lined up. It's like, I didn't know how much we missed veteran leadership. Like, y'all had it in spades with Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey and all of those guys. And you don't realize how important those dudes are in the locker room until you don't have them, right? We didn't have them, and now that we do have one, I'm like, yo, this is what the game was missing the entire time. So
he reminds me of Ray Lewis a lot with his leadership.
It's crazy how, and he said he learned from Ray. Like, he talked to him and studied him, and and he learned from guys like Ray Lewis and Patrick Willis and guys like that. And you can tell, like, this dude is ridiculous.
He got an old school vibe to him.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so glad that he is in Washington, and those were among the two biggest acquisitions this offseason for Washington. Did Dallas have any big acquisitions this offseason?
They were happy about bringing Zeke back.
I mean,
that's the biggest
that's
one.
Their big one. I mean,
that's the big one.
What does that even do?
Why they so ass this year? Like, they are pathetic.
Yeah.
They brought Zeke back, Kendrick. It's like, are they even trying this year? It's like self-sabotage at this point.
But Jerry said that they're all in though, right? Isn't that what he said? They all in?
They couldn't do anything. They had no money.
Yeah,
they're gonna pay all these guys too. Where are they getting the money to pay all these guys?
They handcuffed for sure, and they're gonna have to figure some stuff out because obviously they're gonna have to pay, and they'll figure it out because that's what NFL teams do. They figure out a way to dance around the cap. Restructure some deals, do this, do that.
Figuring it out the way they've been figuring it out for 30 years.
Yeah, they'll figure the shit out.
Disappointing end of their season.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I'm starting to look and I'm like, oh, I can actually see the Cowboys.
See, that's the thing. Like you said, I feel like they're kind of coming back to the
it
they're
felt
still
like it
better than we are, but
yes, for
I
sure.
feel like they're kind of coming back.
One team just fell off. One team just fell off. That's the only thing that happened. Y'all, listen. One of y'all gonna get Dallas good. Y'all gonna put a beating on Dallas. Y'all might not beat them the way y'all want, but y'all gonna be real competitive.
I don't give a damn. I just want to beat them by 1 point.
At this point, I would take a fluke win over Dallas because they just beat.
Yeah.
I don't
care
care how we win. I don't care if you're like that was rigged. The official made a bad call. I don't care.
They did some real disrespectful shit to us last year.
Same
that Thanksgiving Day, they was throwing alley-oops into the Salvation Army can, and they had a chicken wing, a turkey wing in the Salvation Army bell.
It was just like,
they were so disrespectful to us.
They beat us 40-0 opening night. You're talking about disrespectful.
Yeah. I got something for their ass. I can't wait.
I'm just glad about the schedule for the simple fact that we played Dallas in Dallas for the first game. Like, for the last 4 years, the first game has been in Philly, and the second game been in Dallas.
We got Dallas on Thanksgiving again. Like, look,
it's either you or us. I'm sick of that shit. I was glad it wasn't us this year.
The Giants hadn't played a day Thanksgiving game since 1982, and I was too young to remember that. But anybody that's older knows Lawrence Taylor won that game by himself.
That was the Lions one. When
he took
the quarterback and slung him down.
He didn't play the first half.
Yeah,
he forced 2 fumbles. And an interception, and then he picked one off himself and ran it back for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So he won the game on his own. And then we didn't play for 40. We played Washington one Thursday night, Thanksgiving. That might have been the game Larry Donnell had 3 touchdowns and a half.
Yeah.
I don't know. But now all of a sudden we played.
No, we beat y'all on that one. That was a night game.
Yeah.
It was a night Thanksgiving.
We played you guys at night before, so I don't remember. I mean, it's been happening. I know one game.
I don't know the last time the Eagles played on Thanksgiving.
Y'all should be playing Dallas on Thanksgiving.
Right.
That's what y'all should be
love
doing.
on Thanksgiving, man.
Right. They played us in 2022. They played Washington 2023. It's your turn to play them on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It felt like we played them almost every other year on Thanksgiving. Like, God damn.
Maybe that's what they're going to do to us now. They're like, well, the hell with it. We're not going to open them up with the Giants. We'll just throw more.
But they like that matchup. I don't know if they still think Eli's in New York or what, but they love Giants and Cowboys on primetime for whatever reason. Like once upon a time, it was a great game.
It's big markets. It's going to draw regardless of how bad the Giants are.
You guys.
It's definitely not.
It still gets the traffic from the market.
But it definitely gets. Dallas is probably the most popular team in the NFL.
It's not probably they are.
Okay. Yeah. And the Giants are a massive market. New York is a massive market. So that's always going to do ratings.
I get that, but you also want to put a good product on, and that shit is never good.
I know. Well, maybe this year we do, right?
But you know what? Thursday night. It always has the views, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
People
at the
always
end of the
gonna
day,
watch.
that's what they care about. But damn, you don't want to put games on where you'd be like, God damn, the game over in the second
Shit, what was
quarter.
that game
I know.
last year?
Trust me. I know. I don't like
It
it
was
either.
something week
A lot of
three.
our
I think it
games
was
end
I
up
think it
like
was
that.
the Bears and the Saints week 3 last year on primetime.
Yeah,
It was like a horrible game that was just ridiculous.
they
It was
do
on
that,
primetime.
man. They do that from times. I mean, you gonna hit or miss on those. You know, when you play teams that aren't normally playing each other, but division games, you kind of know how them shits go. So
Yeah.
But you also know it draws a lot of. It's going to draw a crowd because the NFCs, babe. We know we're the best division. I mean, there's no doubt about that. We hate each other's teams, and we're going to talk all kinds of shit and everything else this year. But at the end of the day, we know this is the best division in football. Always has been. The most history, the best rivalries. The only division that has each one of its team that has a Super Bowl. About damn time the Eagles got one, but they finally did, and we're the only ones. And God, how many Super Bowls has this division played in? Like 24, 25? It's been a lot.
yeah,
Been a lot of Super Bowls. So just the best.
a lot of people say, but that was the past. So now it's time to
Well,
bring
the Eagles
that
were
back.
just in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the bulk of our Super Bowls came in the 80s and 90s.
Well, I mean, hell,
as a division.
history's history.
It is. I mean, you can't deny it and you can't delete it and erase it, but I hear this all the time. The AFC North is the best division of football. They sent all 4 of their teams to the playoffs last year. Like,
well, I mean,
But
2
all
years
4 of
ago,
their teams don't have a
2
ring.
years ago, we sent 3, and you guys just missed.
yeah,
You guys just missed.
yeah. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I think.
Yeah, the AFC North has great teams. They don't have the rivalries that this division has. Or
No.
Who's in the AFC North again? The Bengals?
The
Browns,
Browns, Ravens,
Steelers.
and the Steelers.
It's a great division.
Get out of here.
And we all get that division.
They got 2 teams without a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
It's a great division as of now. The NFC East is the only division where every team got a Super Bowl.
yeah.
Now
you're not wrong.
It's a good division now.
Yeah.
They're competitive.
And we all get to play that division this year.
Yeah, we do. I'm not looking forward to it either.
Nah,
I ain't going either. Front.
Not looking forward to playing Cincinnati. And
We got them on a Monday night.
Never look
at
forward
their
to
building. I know they're gonna put on a crispy all whites against us. That's gonna be crazy.
Damn, Monday night. That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it is. They set us up. That's week 3, bro. But we'll get to the schedules down the road.
Yeah,
and when
probably August.
Yeah, when we get to wins and losses there. King of the Bluegrass, thank you for starting us off. Really appreciate you as always. King of the Bluegrass writes, "Hey LB, who do you think is the more mobile quarterback and better athlete, Jalen Hurts or Daniel Jones? Also, does the talent around them reflect their success or lack thereof? Welcome back, guys."
I think Daniel Jones is a sneaky good athlete. But he's not the better athlete out of him and Jalen Hurts. Like, let's be for real. Jalen Hurts squats 600 pounds. You know what I mean? Jalen Hurts, I think he played baseball at one point. Who's the more mobile quarterback? I actually would call it even. I think both of the guys have around the same mobility. And I think the talent around them doesn't really reflect as much as people would like to say. I think Jalen Hurts obviously has played with more talented rosters, but Daniel Jones hasn't played with so much, as talented as Jalen Hurts, but he's had opportunities to show that he's better than what he's shown. So, I think it's subjective, man. Daniel Jones, if Tyrod Taylor could come in there and look how he looked, what's stopping Daniel Jones from doing it? So, talent is not an excuse for making just, common sense plays.
Yeah, I agree. I think Hurts maybe a little bit better. Like, I think he'd be a little bit better athlete. I don't know if Jones is a great athlete. I think, like, straight on speed, I think that Daniel Jones probably has Hurts. Yeah. But I also think a lot of Jones's success is like, it's drawn up for the RPO or the bootleg or whatever. I feel like when they draw a play for him to run, he's very successful. Mm-hmm. I think Hurts is a better scrambler. You know what I mean? Like when the pocket breaks down, I feel like Hurts is better at getting away from a pass rush than Daniel Jones is. Mm-hmm. But I think that anybody that could sit here and tell me, or anybody, that if Daniel Jones had Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown in that offensive line, that he would be the same exact quarterback that he is with the players he's had on the Giants, you're not watching the game. I mean, let's be honest here. AJ Brown.
He won't be the same player, but he won't go to the Super Bowl.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying because he talked about their success.
Yeah.
Jones would be a lot better with those guys. I don't have any doubt about that.
I think he makes the playoffs 2 years out of the 3 instead of 3 out of the 3. Because Jalen Hurts' first year starting, Daniel Jones ain't making the playoffs.
Well, you guys didn't have AJ Brown his first year there either.
Exactly. Daniel Jones is not making the playoffs with that roster. We had nothing. We had a run game.
If you put Jalen Hurts, if you put Jalen Hurts in New York with what Daniel Jones has had to deal with, is he even starting right now?
No.
If I put Daniel Jones in New York,
if you put Jalen Hurts in New York,
who would be the other option?
I'm just saying in general. I mean, just play it out the way that it's played out. Tyrod Taylor has been there, right? Is he playing at the level that he's playing at now? Would he have elevated that Giants organization, or would he be playing down to the level of the talent around him?
I think he would have elevated him because Daboll and that coaching staff was really good at putting Daniel Jones in a position to succeed. You know what I mean? If you would have ran those same bootlegs and all of that stuff they ran for Daniel Jones, they would have did the same thing for Jalen Hurts. But I think Jalen Hurts is, I'm not going to say he throws necessarily a better ball than Daniel Jones, because I don't think Daniel Jones throws a bad ball. I think Jalen Hurts is just smarter with his passing than Daniel Jones is. So
Jalen Hurts, Hurts process is way faster than
he's just a smarter passer.
Like Jones is very hesitant, Hurts is very aggressive. I think that's a big difference. But again, this offensive line allowed 85 sacks, 86 sacks, and it wasn't just Jones. Jones was hurt a lot of the year. Andrew Thomas was hurt a lot of the year. Saquon Barkley was hurt a lot of the year. So again, the year that they were healthy, they went to the postseason with Darius Slayton being their number one guy. So again, I'm not saying that Daniel Jones would be like an all-pro. He'd definitely be better, though. I don't think there's any question about that. That if he had those two guys, like what the Eagles have, there's no question. Daniel Jones would be in the playoffs if he had the Eagles roster. There's not a doubt in my mind. Not a doubt in my mind.
I look at
you still got to process the game.
Yeah, I think.
No matter
but when you got guys that can separate, or you can throw the ball up to a guy like AJ Brown that's going to win the 50-50 balls. You got Devontae Smith that gets open off the line of scrimmage, or the fact that the Eagles actually give their quarterback a few seconds to throw, or Daniel Jones has 2 before he's planted into the ground.
You still got to process that, man.
I agree, but he'd have a lot more time. He'd have a lot more time to process if he had Philly's offensive line in front of him instead of what the hell the Giants put in front of him.
The year we went to the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts was like number 1 against the blitz. He was one of the best QBs on third down that year. You got to nobody processed the game better than Jalen Hurts when we went to the Super Bowl. Nobody processed.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to deny that Daniel Jones don't process. That's my hang up.
Nobody processed that. A part of running the offense that we ran that year is processing. You got to be able to read that edge rusher. You got to know when to keep that ball. You got to know when to put it in the gut of the running back. You got to know when to pull it down and pass and know where everything's
I
at.
agree. I agree. Instincts play a big part without question. I totally agree. But my point is Jones would have more time. And maybe that quarter of a second, that half second gives him the time he needs to process, and he's really good. We'll never know. Obviously, I hope someday that we do. I hope Jones improves. I hope Jones is healthy, and I hope the Giants build around him, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, this is what we expect him to be.
The playoffs with Daniel Jones, man, he's trash.
I think that's exactly where we need to end that one at. Rosario Satara Pileski, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Rosario Satara Pileski writes, PSA, tell your friends and family to subscribe to the NFC East Super Friends. Don't let your family and friends miss out on the experience this year. You know what it is, man. Really appreciate you. Much love. To my guy,
first
Russ.
to do it, the best to do it, the NFC Super Friends, baby.
You already know what it is.
I see, I see a lot of people been stealing our style, though. We back, though.
Yeah,
we back.
Man.
Like we teased in the beginning. Often imitated, never duplicated. Can't do it.
Look, man, imitation is the
most
best form
of flattery.
Of flattery. Yep. Most sincere form. So I'm not upset, but I know We
taking
bitches.
back our
We
spot.
back, bitches. So appreciate you, and shout out to the over 700 of you out there in the comment
Facts.
section, holding us down, chopping it up, spicing up the conversation. Hey, we really appreciate each and every single one of y'all.
Just wait till football starts. Then the conversation gets really spicy. I love that.
I mean, hell, once we start talking schedule and wins and losses, it's gonna get real raunchy in here. Big Money Sonny, my guy, Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes LB? Why you always coming for my guy LB? Man?
I don't even know what that means.
Hey, that Smoke Newport looking good on you. Shout out to Bad Dog. Shout out to Bad
Green
Dog.
shirt? I don't know.
Louis, we taking over. B, let them know. Look, I'm not doing that this year, right? I'm enjoying the ride. I'm gonna talk my shit. You know I'm gonna talk my shit, but it's not gonna be 12-5, 11-6. You know, talking my shit. It's gonna be. I gotta see what we got.
Wait till we get to the schedule. We'll be talking about it with 12 games. You know that. As soon as you get to August, we'll be like, that's a win. That's a win. Yeah, 12
Yo, I've gone through the schedule already. I'm not gonna do that this year, but you know how it gets. We start talking shit, and all I'm like, no, you know what? No, that's a win.
I do.
I'm not doing that this year.
We'll see.
Big Money Sonny, right? Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, LB, what did the 5 fingers say to the face?
I don't know, but I know if you complete that joke on me in person.
right. We gonna have some problems.
We're gonna have some problems.
One thing I always remember LB saying, I said, man, I'm not going to Philadelphia, man. They don't like me there. I get killed there. LB said, not if you're with me.
Yo, first of all,
they gonna mess with you if you're me. He said, they gonna mess with you if you're me.
First of all, forget about the fact that LB was in the military and is very experienced with weapons. Forget about it. Push that aside. A lot of people don't realize he's like
LB's big.
Like he's like 6'3".
Don't push that. Don't push that aside. This is the first thing you need to remember.
No.
No.
I'm gonna push that aside just so you know what you're dealing with. Then you get past that and understand that he's good with the weaponry. Okay, right. So that's what you gotta understand. Like, hey, you really don't want that smoke, right? So let's keep it clean, right?
Right.
As clean as we can possibly keep it. But we're gonna talk that shit though.
Yeah, of course.
JP. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy, JP. Right. So welcome back, fellas, man. We appreciate you, JP. It feels good to be back, man.
It does.
Have a couple of questions to bring to the table. First, are the Jets or Cowboys under more pressure to win? And second, could this recent draft class be one of the best ever? So we'll take that first question. We'll go around the panel. And so Jets with Aaron Rodgers, we know when a Super Bowl, it's Super Bowl or bust for them. Cowboys, we talked about this with Mike McCarthy. Kind of feels like they got it. I don't know if they got to win a Super Bowl as much as they got to make it to the NFC Championship game. It feels like in order for him to be back. Who has the most pressure, the Jets or the Cowboys? LB.
The Cowboys. Nobody got more pressure than the Cowboys. Nobody got more pressure than the team with the 8-year starter who's turning 30, who never been outside of the second round. I'm sorry. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, I mean, he's coming off injury. Even if they win 12 games and don't get it done, they're going to get a pass. You know what I mean? Dak want to get paid. He got to prove why. You know, that's a lot of pressure over there, man. It's a lot of pressure. It's jobs at stake in Dallas. They about to clean house if they go south this year.
Bad Dog.
Yeah, no question. It's Dallas. Dallas is trying to win a Super Bowl. The Jets grasp for straws. It doesn't matter what the Jets do. We always say the Jets will jet. That's what they do. But you see how quick the Jets give up on quarterbacks. I mean, they've had 3 quarterbacks that were drafted in the top 5 that were all ass. And they got rid of them immediately. And they go out there and they get guys like Brett Favre. And then they go out and they get guys like Aaron Rodgers. Like, they're grasping for guys. The Jets aren't the Packers. Like, Aaron Rodgers ain't going to do with the Jets what he did with the Packers. But nobody has expectations for the Jets. Jets fans may have expectation, but does the NFL sit there and go, well, the Jets are going to be better than the Dolphins or the Bills? Whereas you look at our division and really, again, Louis, I think we're getting closer, but their competition here is the Eagles. And Dallas has a much easier division and an easier road. And they've been there for years, and they can't get over them. And we're all forget they're the Cowboys, man. It's just like the Yankees. There's always pressure. There's always massive expectations because they're the Cowboys. If no other reason, it's because they're the Cowboys. I don't care who it is. The Cowboys are always going to have more pressure to win a Super Bowl than any other team in this league, in my opinion.
But when they're bad, they're bad. When they have some of those,
and I love it when they're bad.
When they had some of those guys like before Romo, who was it? Who were some of those guys they had? Campbell,
they had Anthony right there for a little bit. They had
they had a couple bums. Nobody expected. They had a couple bums. Nobody expected nothing out of them then. But they have the longest tenured quarterback in the NFC.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think maybe in the NFL. I don't think anybody's been with the same roster as a quarterback actively right now longer than Dak Prescott. So it's a lot of pressure there, man. It's like, what are you still holding on to that guy for? Make a move, change something up.
Andy wants $60 million.
Yeah. Which is ludicrous. I feel like Kirk Cousins should have asked for 60. Then you get the same results. Good stats in the regular season.
Damn, I didn't even think about he was the longest tenured quarter. I'm trying to think of a quarterback that's been with one.
There isn't one. I know you were trying to say no. There's him. I looked through this.
I'm trying to think of one, but
Dak Prescott has been a starting quarterback for 3 presidential administrations.
He's been there. This is 9 seasons.
Obama, Trump, and Biden.
And he's about to go into another one. There's going to be another.
Exactly.
But yeah.
He might be in there for Trump's second term. The dude is a grandpa. You know, and what kills me about it is get his peer group right. Stop judging him and measuring him up against Jalen Hurts. He needs to be talked about with Matthew Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, guys who've been in the league for like close to 10 years now. Stop measuring him up with Herbert and Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. That's not his group. Stop it. That ain't his class, man.
That's that's crazy in thinking about it in those terms. I'll play devil's advocate. I tend to agree with you guys, especially just the fact that they're the Cowboys. They're the most popular team in the league. They have the most pressure every year. You haven't won in a very long time. But I'll play devil's advocate. The Jets, I think, are in a position where you've built everything around Aaron Rodgers. You went out. You got people that he was comfortable with. You hired staff members that he was comfortable with. They want to get rid of some of those guys, like their offensive coordinator who stinks, but he was best friends. That's Aaron Rodgers' best bud, so they hired him. Like, you built everything around winning around Aaron Rodgers. It feels like Robert Saleh, who's done a really solid job, he just hasn't had quarterback play. He feels like if this doesn't work, he's going to get fired. He's going to be the sacrificial lamb here. And if you're the Jets, everything that you've done has put you in a position to win and win big. And the NFL is banking on you being good. You weren't good last year. They had you on primetime 5 times. You're on primetime 6 times this year. All right. The most of any team in the league. The NFL says you owe them. They literally came out and said they owe us for what happened last year. They believe in the Jets. They're gonna push the Jets off on us, force us to watch them. There's a lot of pressure building with the Jets, and if they don't win, I think it could be the end of the road for a number of guys there, including Robert Saleh, the head coach. So I tend to agree it's the Cowboys, but it's a similar situation. If they don't win big, they could easily see.
They in the chat talking about 3 presidential elections and never been to the White House.
That's a good one. 803 Hitman. That's a good one, bro. That's a good one.
But he won 60 mil. The logic.
All right, this one on you, LB.
Just showing support. Keep up the good work, Bro Street Bullies all day. Hey, I appreciate you, Silverback, my guy.
Silverback 2.0. Hey, really appreciate you, man. Salute, bro. Salute. This one on ULB too.
Hey guys, I'm missing the Phillies, but I love the show. Go Birds. Hey, I appreciate you, David. Appreciate you, man. Go Birds.
If you're missing the Phillies, who are the best team in baseball right now, they could kick rocks first and foremost. But
wrong.
Who? The Phillies?
I don't even watch baseball. But
the Yankees are the best team in baseball. Even though I'm a little concerned because I I watched the Yankees just won 4-2, but Aaron Judge got hit in the hand and left the game. So a little bit concerned about that.
Yeah, look.
So, but the Yankees are 51-24, man. We're the best. And Garrett Cole comes back.
Where are the Phillies? They got to be over 50.
The Phillies and Yankees are about the same. They've been
they're right there.
They are. They're both right there.
Yeah, and your division isn't trash, so I respect what you're doing.
The Orioles are good.
They're really good. They just came and spanked us a couple weeks back, but that's another conversation for another day. Appreciate you, David. Uncle Nate, this one's on you, Bad Dog.
He says, Bad Dog, you ever think about working with Cop Pistol? That'd be epic.
They just did it recently.
We just did it. Cop Pistol and I just worked together last Thursday. We just did a 2.5 hour stream together. So Cop and I are going to do more during the regular season without question.
I don't know. I don't know how I missed that. Those are two of my favorite Giants content creators.
Yeah,
Kyle Pizzle is like the scum under my shoe, but I love the guy. He just texted me the other day, actually.
Hey, go ahead.
No, I know. He told me. He told me. He said he goes. I texted everybody I knew a Daniel Jones picture. He said I texted LB. I texted Mark Holmes. I texted Philly 500. I said I got that. I was like, what the hell is this? Why is he taking a picture of Daniel Jones? But yeah, no, Cop and I we're gonna definitely work a lot more together during the regular season because
we can have Cop up here. You know,
we definitely could.
Yeah, and that's definitely what we're gonna start doing.
He will probably
just to let y'all know. We're going to have a slew of different guests. We're going to have that fourth square, so many different people. We're going to give everybody a little 30-minute segment every time we go live, introduce y'all to some new people in the space. It's going to be lit.
And you never know. You might get a player or two. You never know.
Yeah.
You just don't know. That's why you got to show up.
That's correct.
All right. Kyron, I don't know who Kyron is a fan of. Kyron Clarkson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Kyron writes, let's talk about the fact that unfortunately history repeats itself. Cowboys and Eagles switch division champions every year if it's not New York or Washington. I mean, that's how it's been because we still haven't had a repeat champion since 03, 04, right?
20 years.
So that's what it's just always been somebody else, right? And it feels like the Eagles are probably next in line if something crazy doesn't happen where the Giants Washington crazy, jumps up and grabs it.
Right.
It feels like the Eagles are going to win, and it's going to be another year where somebody doesn't repeat as division champs. But we keep selling Dallas short. Maybe this is Jerry's plan all along.
Maybe.
They have these.
They win the division.
Radar, right?
We know they ain't gonna win a Super Bowl, so it really don't matter.
They're not winning the division this year, though. They're not winning it this year. It just feels like I don't know. I hope I'm right because it feels like they're about to be very underwhelming this year. That's what it feels like. And I think they're underselling the loss of Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. I think they're underselling. Like nobody's afraid of their new defensive coordinator, Mike Zimmer. Like he's another one of these old hat defensive coordinators who I think the game, I don't want to say it's passed him by, but he's not what he once was in this league as a defensive mind.
Was he unemployed last year or did he?
He was unemployed. After he lost his job in Minnesota, he wasn't on anybody's staff last year. So, yeah, he's back in the game now after a year out. And maybe he's got a different perspective and he's going to come in with some fresh ideas. But another one of these hard-ass, old-school coaches. And I don't know if that shit works anymore, to be honest with you. Like, there's nothing wrong with hard coaching, but, you also have to have your players' best interest at heart. And a lot of these old-school dudes don't seem to necessarily like to conform to the talent that they have.
See, that's one thing I feel like Daboll needs to get better at. I feel like Daboll is a hard ass, out of the Bill Parcells school, out of the Tom Coughlin. Now Parcells never really eased up with anybody, but Coughlin did. Coughlin's first few years with the Giants, he was very rough with the players. Probably, big reason why Strahan didn't show up for training camp, and they hated training camp, and Tiki retired early. In 2007, Coughlin kind of took a step back, and he was still the guy, but he was a lot more understanding of his players.
That's right.
And they responded a lot better to him. So I feel like Daboll needs to get a little bit better about, he can't be like 100% like just in your face, yelling at you for making a mistake. I feel like he's got to kind of take it back a little bit. I'm not saying be easy, let the guys run all over you, but you also have to be a little bit understanding. They are human and they are going to mess up. obviously you can't have that.
I mean, we saw Daboll throw the tablet at Daniel Jones' ass.
He has definitely gotten in Daniel Jones' ass a couple times. There's no doubt about it.
He looked at
Yeah,
that
he threw
tablet.
the tablet at him. He deserved it. I'm not gonna lie.
He saw that
He
receiver
deserved
wide ass open, and he saw Daniel Jones throw that damn pick six. And that, what was it? That was the first game of this. What was it?
No, that was against Seattle.
Seattle.
No,
It was on a Monday night, right? Y'all had that game too. If he doesn't throw that pick, he scored a touchdown.
I don't know. We would have been down 14-10 there. So
hey, they didn't do anything offensively in that game. Nothing. They were awful offensively. You guys gave it away offensively by getting sacked 8 million times. And
that's the other thing. Like I said, I questioned Daboll. Like against Dallas, the game is over. Okay. Why is Daniel Jones in there with 3 minutes to go? What are you doing to him? Yeah. And, he's like, oh, I wanted to get some momentum there. I'm like, you're full of shit, bro. You had backups, and every backup was in there except for Daniel Jones. And then against Seattle, too, games in hand. He gets sacked 12 times. Why are you leaving him out there? Like, what are you trying to prove?
He's punishing him. He's punishing him.
I'm like, bro, you gotta relax a little bit. I understand you're frustrated. I get it. Let me teach him a lesson, but he ended up getting hurt. So again, I still think Daboll's the guy, but he's got to ease up a little bit. He can't be like that.
It's easier. It's a lot easier to come in with the hammer and then ease up than it is to come in easy and then try to put the hammer down. Right?
Absolutely, because if you come in easy and then try to drop the hammer, they're not gonna respect you.
They're not gonna respect that shit.
It's like if you're. I mean, we're all family. We're all dads. Happy Father's Day, by the way, fellas.
Hey, likewise.
Appreciate it. Happy Father's Day, everybody in the chat. Hope you had a great Father's Day. But if you allow your kid to kind of walk all over you and then you try to say no, okay, Dad.
Yeah, whatever, bro.
So yes, I agree.
Yeah, that's kind of like Nick Sirianni, right? He's a happy-go-lucky coach, and hey, he's everybody's best friend. He got on the chain and all that shit. Now you're trying to play tough guy, and everybody's like, bro.
He walked into the tunnel and then started screaming at the Chiefs fans, and he was right up.
We already saw what kind of guy he was.
We know, and he eats freaking pizza. I mean, it's
there you go again on your pizza rant, man.
It's an embarrassment to Italian people. We don't eat Pizza Hut. And we don't put pineapple on a pizza.
Pineapple is allowed on pizza, people.
Not if you're Italian. It is not allowed. Whatever. They shouldn't even be in the same room together.
This guy.
The pineapple's my favorite fruit, but it don't go on a pizza.
This guy.
It's good.
Hey, this guy.
Billy Williams. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. He writes, LB, what's stopping the Eagles from getting a LeGarrette Blount type of running back? We dominated in that style of running for years. We continue to get finesse type of running backs.
I don't know. I think we found one, and that guy. Did he come from Georgia? What's his name? Like Kendall Milton or something like that?
Yeah, Milton is from Georgia.
Yeah, that's who we picked up as an undrafted free agent, and he's turning a lot of heads. He's a bigger body guy.
Yeah, he's physical. He's not fast, but he's physical.
Yeah, kind of a battering ram style. Not as good as Blount. Blount had like a little. Blount just had sweet feet. Pause. I don't know. Blount just had. He was physical, but he had like a finesse, to him as well. But he was more power than anything else. But I think Milton is going to end up making a roster. To be honest, I don't like the fact that we use Kenneth Gainwell, in like goal line situations. He's more of a scat back to me. But I think Saquon can do it all. So we're gonna see.
Saquon's a finesse back. He ain't a power back. He's powerful, but he don't run.
Punch it in on the goal line.
I mean, so can Hurts. I mean, you got a good offensive line. You're going to punch it in. I'm not saying Barkley can't get, but a lot of times, man, he didn't get those.
That's not true because Miles Sanders couldn't punch it in a lot.
Listen, I'm telling you, Barkley has. Maybe he'll change his running style with Philadelphia because your line's better. But Giants fans will tell you it was very frustrating that Barkley hesitated behind the line of scrimmage instead of just plowing forward and getting 3 yards. That's there. He would scoot around in the back, trying to make everything a touchdown.
You know what, man? Y'all got so much negativity to talk about Saquon Barkley since he left.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm not
until he left.
No, LB, come on, man. Barkley. I always complain about Barkley doing that. I would say Barkley's got to lower your shoulder and get the 3 yards. 2nd and 7 is better than 2nd and 12.
Let me ask you a question. So is Barkley in the tier 1 of running backs in the National Football League?
Is he in the what?
The tier 1.
Tier 1.
What's tier 1? How many backs?
Tier 1 is CMC.
I think he's in a class by himself right now.
Maybe. But CMC is tier 1. Or you can put CMC in his own class.
But I'm saying, how many backs you consider tier 1? Like, give me a number. I think Barkley's right around the top 5. I don't think Barkley's.
I would say 4. I would say 4 or 5 are like
he's right around there. He's right around there. With the Eagles, he may be better. You guys got a better line. You got a better team. I mean, maybe he finds something, but there's no doubt. And again, Giants fans will tell you this: whether he went to the Eagles, stay with the Giants, or whatever. He's not the guy he was. When he first got to the Giants, this guy was unreal. His explosiveness was ridiculous. And he hit the hole, he's gone. After he tore his ACL, that's not there anymore. That breakaway speed is not there anymore. It's not the same back. He's still a top 5 back or right around it, without question. And like I said, he should be better with you guys than he was with us. You got a better line, you got a better team, but he's not the guy he wasn't before he tore his ACL. But yeah, I still think Barkley's a top tier guy. But like I said, he has a tendency to hesitate instead of just hitting a hole. So maybe he can change. That always drove me crazy. I'm like, just put your head down, bro. Like I said, 2nd and 7, getting 3 tough yards is better than dancing around the backfield and getting tackled for a loss and you try to reverse field and end up being 2nd and 12.
I agree.
He probably won't have to do that as much.
Barkley's very good out of the backfield. Like, you can throw him passes, and he's very effective like that.
He won't have to do all of that hesitation and stuff.
Yeah, he shouldn't. But again, if you're kind of trained, and that's kind of your first instinct is to dance around, I don't think that changes because you're on a different team. But we'll see. Maybe it does. Like I said,
it's different when there's somebody in the backfield, right?
Any Giants fans being honest with themselves knows damn well Barkley's in a better situation with Philadelphia than it was with us.
Yeah, I was a little salty for sure.
I think
I'm salty. Hell yeah! I'm not gonna lie. I'm pissed off that he went to Philadelphia. I'm not gonna sit here and
all the places he could have gone. That's where
any place but there. Any place. 30 other teams. Not Dallas either.
Yeah.
30 other teams. No, he had to go there. Yeah. And now I'm like, no, I'm not going to turn my back on you, bro. No, I don't root for you. I sold this damn jersey at a garage sale for $2. $2, Barkley. $2. Now, I could have burned it, but I wasn't that petty about it.
Yeah, no.
Get it out of my face.
It's much better.
Y'all ain't getting nothing for tampering.
One of my favorite things is, and I'm sure you guys get it too, I love when people say, you're mad, bro. It's a human emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was mad when he went there. Not mad that he left the Giants. Not mad that he got paid. Good for him.
Yeah.
Why that uniform?
Of all the places he could have gone.
I don't dislike Barkley. I dislike that uniform big time.
It was crazy to see him in it for the first time.
Oh, it's disgusting.
It was wild.
He just went to Houston. He should have went to the Texans. I would have rooted for him. Now I can't. It's like every damn Oklahoma Sooner goes to Philadelphia or Dallas. Every one of them gets drafted with him. Like, can't root for this guy. Can't root for CeeDee Lamb. Can't root for Jalen Hurts. Going back. Can't root for DeMarco Murray. I can't root for any of these guys. They all end up in Philadelphia.
Does Sterling Shepard have anything left? I saw the Bucs sign him. Does he have anything left?
No.
Yeah, okay.
But he doesn't. I mean, he's had concussions. He's had ACL tears, or not ACL, sorry, Achilles tear. He's had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
This is his 9th year. I think it's cool that he's back with Baker Mayfield. Yeah. I mean, because they were great at Oklahoma together. I think that's cool. And I love Shep. I mean, I got nothing but
I got nothing but love.
I love him. And I hope he does well there. But I don't know how much is left in the tank. He's really had a lot of injuries in his career. Maybe he surprises.
He was like Udonis Haslam on y'all bench last year.
Yeah,
y'all put him in for one at the end of the
season. Only reason I forgot what game it was. It might have been against Philadelphia. The last
Eagles game. It was the last game of the season.
Yeah, they forced it past him to try to get him a damn touchdown, and they threw a pick. Otherwise, we would have beat them worse.
Right. Yeah. Y'all tried to get him involved in that last because y'all knew that was it for him.
Yes. I love Shep. So nothing but the best for him. You know, another guy that used to Steve Smith, the Giants, Steve Smith, my favorite guy. Of course, he went to Philadelphia. Kenny Phillips went to Philadelphia. Why? Because
you know what ultimately happens? I always talk about this with family business in particular. Nobody knows your stuff more than a family member. Like, I get to see these guys 2 times a year for 3-4 years at a time. Nobody knows what these guys are more capable of than the teams that play against them. So if I see Kenny Phillips and he's kicking my ass for 4 years, twice a year, guess who I'm going to sign when he's a free agent?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kenny Phillips, right?
LB, let me ask you this, because this is my hope for Saquon. I don't wish injury on nobody. I'm not wishing injury on him. I hope Saquon Barkley the first 3 or 4 games is total buns. Hope he sucks. Hope he's averaging 2 yards a carry, fumbles a couple times, you lose a couple games. If that happens, say you guys are 2-2, but he's bad. Like, he's just not good. He's not the guy you paid. Do Eagle fans boo him? I'm not saying you in particular. I'm saying the fan base. They're saying we gave this guy $46 million. He came from the Giants, and
it's kind of hard for. So if he's fumbling, if there's a fumble problem, they're going to boo him. They're going to boo him.
That's my hope. I hope the Eagle fan. I hope
he's doing a lot of reverse.
And the Eagle fans take care of
running tough. Then he's going to get booed as well.
Saquon
is a dark horse MVP candidate of mine. I ain't going to lie. I think Saquon about to feast behind this line.
He might, but I hope he gets off to a bad start and the Eagle fans kill him.
I
know they will.
You already know.
That's my hope. I want to hear it. Nothing would make me happier than to hear that fan base boo his ass.
He definitely gonna cook y'all for about 250 on the ground.
I don't know. We're pretty good up front. I'd be more worried about AJ Brown and Devontae Smith beating our young secondary.
That's how I feel. Like, that's the shit that I'm worried about.
Deontay Banks they had a great year. Second year, Tyler Nugent, rookie. Pinnock was pretty good.
Don't have Forbes out there again.
Look, I'm trying to hide. He's in witness protection program when we play y'all. If he's on the field, he need to be checking Slim Reaper, not AJ Brown. He's not allowed to check him after what he did to him.
Yeah, AJ Brown's too big.
Yeah, we call CPS on AJ.
Somebody talking about LB blocked me.
You probably
keep
did.
It up. You're gonna get blocked over here too.
You probably did. Donnell Shipley, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Donnell writes, Eagles theme music all season. They're not like us.
That's a fact. Because they not.
We gonna see, man. I'm telling you. Donnell, y'all might be more like us than you think.
Could be.
It's feeling a lot. It's feeling a lot like, hey, man, y'all starting to come back to the pack. Where y'all been at? You like, man, we had us a little run, but
they finished that season on a bad note. Like I said, they weren't just losing by the skin of their teeth. They were winning by the skin of their teeth at the beginning of the year, and they were getting pummeled in the second half of the year. Pummeled, embarrassed. The Giants made them tap out. Remember that.
Yes, they did.
Pull them all out of the game. We don't want no part of this. They're kicking our ass. Pull Hurts, pull Brown, get them all out of there.
That was fun to watch.
Yes, it was. People were like, that was your Super Bowl, bad dog. Yup.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely.
It was.
I'm not going to even front. I
don't deny. Denial's a river in Egypt, man. I don't deny nothing here. I don't deny nothing.
Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Swaggy P writes, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh.
Good to see you all again. Who is the X Factor player for each of your teams to be successful this year? Also, take a shot for Law. Hey, you shady as hell for that.
I tell you what, I gotta refill it for the season just in case.
Yeah. There'll be one of those episodes.
There will be.
Yeah.
You gotta tune in to find out which one it is.
Right. X Factor for all of your squads. Bad Dog, who's the X Factor for you in order for y'all to have success, to be the best version of yourselves?
Daniel Jones, without question. It's our quarterback. If he can stay healthy.
Okay, let's go non-quarterback, because I think that's every team in the league. If your quarterback
that is massive, but okay, X Factor for us. I want to say Brian Burns. I mean, obviously Brian Burns is a big thing, but I'm gonna go Evan Neal. I think Evan Neal needs to play like a 7th overall pick. I think Evan Neal needs to take a major step and prove that he can be. He don't need to be an all-pro right tackle, but he needs to be a very good, effective right tackle. And I feel like if Evan Neal can get his shit together and he can play good right tackle, and that allows Illuminor to be a swing tackle, we have depth there, and you got running inside. I feel like the Giants' offensive line could be very good, especially going forward when you got Andrew Thomas, when you got John Michael Schmitz, and now all of a sudden you got Evan Neal. So you got your bookend tackles and you got your center, and you grow from that with these young guys. I feel like not just this year, but going forward, Evan Neal is extremely important to what the Giants are going to do this year. That's my X factor.
LB.
Saquon. You know, Saquon don't even have to be what everybody wants him to be in terms of just the best running back in the league. Saquon just gotta hold it down, bro. Saquon just gotta follow his blocks. He just gotta do him, yo. If Saquon just do him, the offense gonna look scary, bro. He just gotta do him. He just gotta do him.
He's got to stay healthy. He's got to stay healthy for you guys.
Yeah, he gotta stay healthy too, I guess. But you know, the health thing is fun. Is a funny thing for me because nobody's really rushing to get off the injury report to play for the Giants and Daniel Jones. You know what I mean?
I understand that, but I mean, you don't hurry off you tear an ACL. I mean, you're done. I don't care who you're playing.
No, yeah, but that was
and it's not like Barkley had
games
sore hamstring. He's sprained his ankle. Those are legitimate injuries. And I feel like he actually came back too early last year.
For Washington, it's a number of guys, but I'll say Jahan Dotson. Right, you draft this guy in the first round. We know what Terry McLaurin is. If you really truly want to unlock this offense, he has to step up and be that second option at receiver. We don't have a guy right now that has stepped into that role. We drafted him to be that Devontae Smith to Terry McLaurin's A.J. Brown, and he hasn't been that. And so this is a big year for him. If he can unlock what we saw in him coming out of Penn State, and not just as a receiver, I think they're going to put him back there on punt returns potentially as well. And he was a dynamic punt returner. If he can unlock, what he was supposed to be as a former first-round pick, I think that could do wonders for a young quarterback in an offense that has struggled to score points over the last 5 years. Running.
I thought you were going to go offensive line.
I don't think there's one guy on the offensive line that's going to change the fortunes of our offensive line because we don't have we have so many different guys that can affect the offensive line positive or negatively that one guy isn't going to change. Like if Andrew Wiley plays well, cool. What if the left tackle still stinks? Vice versa. Left tackle plays well. What if Andrew Wiley stinks? Right? Like it's almost like plugging a dike. I don't know what we're going to get out of left guard. We don't know what we're going to get out of right or left tackle. So it's hard to pick anybody on the offensive line because the left tackle could play lights out and the right tackle could still be garbage. So, this ain't like back in the day where the best pass rusher was going to line up in front of the left tackle on every snap. They're going to find the weakness. If your right tackle is ass, we're going to put our best pass rusher on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exploit that mismatch. So I'll go.
How many more supers we got?
4, and then we out of here. Frank McLaughlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Frankie, baby. Aloha. Frank writes, aloha, fellas. Great to have you guys back. Cheers.
Great to be back, my boy.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, Frank. It's so good to be back behind the mic with these fellas, man. Really appreciate you. Aloha, Frankie.
All right. I listen, I got to do one because I'm off tomorrow, and it is the Super Friends.
Yep, there it is.
There you go.
The first shot back. All right, look at that.
Well, I was already on it before the camera came on.
Look,
I can tell. LB.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have mine. From this next stream on, I'm gonna have some sitting right here in the reserve, just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case.
But I had to do that back.
We back. That was a we back shot.
That's the we back shot.
Yeah. So, King of the Bluegrass, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? JD5 is the truth. Best quarterback in the draft, soon to be the best in the NFC. I'll talk trash for you, Lou. I'm gonna talk that talk eventually. I need to see it first, but I feel good about it. But we haven't. No, I'm not. See, you trying to stop me.
He don't even
talk draft. Right before the season, LB, you know he's gonna be talking shit.
I'm going to.
So this year.
I'm telling you, I'm subdued because I'm blissful. Like this is angry.
This is the pattern. When they put a legit squad together, he don't say much. He just enjoys it. When he know they're gonna be ass, that's when he talks.
See, no, that's not how that works. I truly believed that Sam Howell was gonna be the shit. I did. I got
he was shit. You're right. You were right. He was shit.
Eric Bieniemy was actually the enemy of the state. He literally was the downfall of the offense last year. He couldn't get out of his own way. He self-sabotaged. So I'm gonna enjoy this ride, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited. My guy Christopher McLaughlin.
McLaughlin's coming through back to back here.
That's my guy Frank, and now my guy Chris. Right. Man, stay holding it down.
Same last name.
Yeah, they both blessed the kid. I really appreciate y'all. I think one's with an A though. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Same last name spelled differently.
Yeah, my guy Chris. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Chris writes, "Hey Lou, Bad Dog, LB. Hope everyone is doing well. Likewise, Chris. As always, hope you and the family are doing well." Says 3 questions, 1 and 2. What is the one non-division game you are looking forward to, and one that worries you the most, and why? And then 3, what is the one question or matchup that you are worried about before training camp, and why? So give me the game that you're looking forward to the most, non-NFC East related.
The Ravens and Eagles, man. I think those are 2 great teams. I think those teams got experience, playoff players all on the roster. I think that's going to be a good game in Baltimore. I'm actually going to be there week 13.
Oh, that's right. I'm about to say, y'all don't play the 49. You didn't win the division, though.
Nope.
Yeah, that sucks. Bad Dog.
Man, I mean, I don't know if I look forward to any.
Yeah.
I mean, any of the NFC South games, just because I like the Panthers. I feel like we should be able to beat the hell out of them.
Why are you looking forward to that, Bad Dog?
Because we'll win. Because we're going to win that game. And then we don't get a lot of wins. That's why I'm looking forward. We're going to kick their ass, and we're going to win that game. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to any of those games in the AFC North. I can tell you that much. Yeah, Panthers, we should be able to kick their ass. We should be able to beat the Falcons. We should be able to beat the Saints. Like that division stinks.
That is so terrible, Bad Dog.
Is it a fact though?
You're not wrong. It's just the fact that you are looking forward to winning a game or 2.
Damn right. A win is the win, baby.
Yeah, look, my game is the Bears. All right, number 1 versus the number 2 pick overall in the draft. They open
it with that game, don't y'all?
No, it's I think it's like week 5. I think week 5 or 6.
Right.
We thought so. 2 years in a row we played the Bears. They embarrassed us on national television last year. Like it was disgusting. So we need some get back there involved. And then they got Caleb Williams. We got Jayden Daniels. So it's gonna be a lot of hype around that game. So that's one that's definitely circled on the calendar. And he says, "What's one that worries you? What's a game that worries you on your schedule, LB?"
None of them.
I knew he was going to do that. I don't even know why I asked him. I knew he was going to do that.
I ain't going to lie to you, brother.
Bad Dog, give me one that worries you.
I think the Ravens, I mean, every year they're a Super Bowl contender. Yeah. Now, Lamar Jackson doesn't seem to get as much hate as Dak, and that's because he plays in Baltimore and not Dallas.
Yeah.
But Lamar Jackson, as great as he's been, he hasn't been able to get over the hump either. So, but Baltimore's really good, and they're really good every year. And I know that that's going to be a very tough game. Now, we did beat them a couple of years ago, but I think that Baltimore's really, really tough. Cincinnati's another one. I mean, they're wide receivers, Joe Burrow. I mean, those games against the AFC North. The Steelers don't really worry me. I mean, I think, you're talking about looking forward to a game. I think that's a good one. Honestly, the Giants and Steelers, that's a lot of history there. Those 2 teams have been around forever.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, the Ravens would be the one that worries me.
We got to talk next time. I'm going to save it for next time. We got to talk about them hideous ass red jerseys y'all rolling out too.
Yeah, we're starting week 1.
Yeah. Those are, we're going to talk about that next
week
time.
1?
Yeah, week 1 again. And then I don't know what other game they're wearing them. I feel like they should wear them against Dallas in prime time on week 4 at home Thursday night. But yeah, they're weird.
No, they shouldn't do that. Keep that shit to 1 o'clock
against
at a local slot where only your fan base is watching that shit. Nobody else.
So against Washington, because we know we'll win in those.
We got Dan Quinn now. We got
yeah, come on, Louie. I
juice.
don't care who you got.
We got the juice
You
now.
can have Quinn the Eskimo, and it ain't gonna matter.
Y'all should wear them against moving traffic.
Hey, exactly. But the one for me, there's only one game on the schedule that feels like a kamikaze mission, and that's Cincinnati on the road, Monday night in the jungle. That they set us up for failure. It feels like they set us up to get our brains bashed in.
I think y'all gonna beat them, man.
That'd be great, but I don't. So we'll see what happens. It seems like that one was set up for a beatdown. And then the one question or matchup that you're worried about before training camp. So what's the biggest question that you have about your team heading into training camp? Bad Dog.
Our O-line. I mean, that's been the question every year. They've taken many swings at it. They failed every time. They did not draft an offensive lineman this year, but they went out and got Illuminor. They got Runyon. And again, I go back to my X factor and Evan Neal. I feel like that he's really got to establish himself. So I feel like Andrew Thomas and healthy is a rock. I think he's great, but John Michael Schmidt's had good games, had bad games. He's a question. Evan Neal, a big question. And that is it. I mean, our offensive line has been a major problem with this team since Eli was here. The Giants really have not figured out a way to fix that thing. So every year until it's kind of like when I predict the Giants' schedule. Until Washington beats us, like I'm always going to pick us to beat Washington, and vice versa. Like until we beat Dallas, although I think I did pick us to beat Dallas week 1 last year because I was picking myself a little bit. But normally I don't. Like normally I don't pick us to win those games until they show me we can. So until the Giants' offensive line shows me that they can protect the quarterback, that's always going to be my major concern, without question.
I'm concerned with my D-line. with my D-line, man. It's a lot of young guys there, not a lot of OGs. You lost Fletch. I'm concerned with my D-line, man. Like, who's going to step up and be that guy? Yeah. Jordan Davis and Milton Williams, Jalen Carter. Somebody has to be that guy, though, that holds it down in the middle and calms everybody down. I would have liked to go bring back Ndamukong Suh, a young, bring a veteran back around some of them boys, but I'm concerned with my D-line.
I got corner and O-line. Those are the two things on one side of the ball that bother me. And obviously, time will tell how good those two positions are ultimately going to be. But the only thing that can hold our defense back is the cornerback position. So we'll see about that. And then the offensive line, we know we got a bunch of questions about that. And then on Dallas's front, I'll just answer for Dallas. They every time they see the 49ers, they shit themselves. So I would assume that the 49ers are probably the game that they're most looking forward to, because if you're going to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC, that's probably the team you got to go through.
And it's probably the one that worries them the most.
Of course. Yeah, without question. I think it answers both of those. So, and let's get to our final comment, and it's from our guy, Frank McLaughlin. Thank you for the super chat once again. My guy, Frankie baby. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, fellas, what do you think our division's QB rank will be this year? Are you asking like each quarterback in the division, where they rank, or like where they're gonna rank in the league? Like, what are you asking? Because I mean, right now I don't think it's. I mean, I guess the debate is Dak and Jalen Hurts. Like that, there's nothing else to really debate. We got a rookie, and the Giants have Jones. So like, it's really nothing to rank there. The question is, does Jalen Hurts rank higher than Dak Prescott? And I think that's a realistic question. I think I saw the Madden ratings, and
Dak was a 90.
Dak was 90.
Yeah, and Hurts was under him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of reflective of what the view is of where they are in the pantheon right now. I mean, Dak did play really well in the regular season. He's a regular season quarterback. Well, what more can we say, right?
Right.
You play more of those than you do playoff games, and he plays really well in the regular season. So, till he wins big, though, that's always going to be the question mark, and that's always going to be the thing that's
Hurts has been in the Super Bowl. Dak hasn't.
Hurts has been to an NFC Championship game.
Daniel Jones has made it as far in the playoffs as Dak Prescott.
Yes, I has. Yeah. I mean,
Baker Mayfield got the same amount of playoff wins as that.
Right.
That's wild. Two playoff wins. That's wild.
Yeah.
And yet he's the longest tenured quarterback in the NFL. I didn't even think about that. That's wild.
It dawned on me a couple months ago. It was like, who's been with their team long? Once Aaron Rodgers moved, that's when it happened. Really.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. When you said that, I was racking my brain, going through every single team's quarterback in every division. I was like, damn, he's right. You know, it's some guys that's approaching him, but he's the longest. Yeah,
because Matthew Stafford moved. You know, he's the longest guy.
It's just Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. I think those are the three that are even remotely close to him. Like everybody else.
Mahomes is 1 year behind. Mahomes was drafted in 17. So
he's the one guy, right? And then Lamar is in 18.
So is Josh Allen.
So is Josh Allen, that 18 draft.
Yep.
So yeah, man, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that. But anyway, I digress. That's gonna do it for us. The NFC East Super Friends. We're back like cook crack. Feels good to be back with these two guys talking NFC East football. The next time y'all see us, and it's gonna be very soon. It's probably gonna be in a couple of weeks or so. We'll figure out the exact date and let y'all know when we figure it out. But we'll be talking draft. And I think we feel like, I know LB feels good about his draft. We had a trade with them. We'll talk about all of that stuff. We had a draft that I think is going to be a foundational type of draft. The Giants had a draft that's pretty interesting. There were some picks there where I was like, I wouldn't have done that.
The third round pick is the one that I would have.
And Andrew Phillips. We'll definitely talk about that. So, and then, of course, with Dallas. And maybe we'll have a guest. Who knows? Yeah. I think it'd only be fitting if we had someone here to talk about the Cowboys draft.
Correct.
So be on the lookout for that. But in any event, we appreciate y'all coming and kick it with us. Over 700 of y'all. At one point, it was over 800 of y'all kicking it with us here in the comment section. Our first time back in a long time. It feels good. Feels good to be back. And we're going to have some killer content for y'all. So y'all saddle up. It's going to be a hell of a summer, and it's just getting started, and we bringing the heat for y'all.
Yeah, right. Like Lionel Richie said, feels good to feel good. That's what it is. Right. Feel good to feel good.
Yes, look, we ready, man. We ready. So with that said, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Enjoy your Juneteenth, okay? You got a day off. Enjoy it. Go outside. It's going to be nice outside.
I'm going outside. I'm going up to the lake for tonight, man. Hell yeah, I'm going to enjoy it. I took the day off after Juneteenth.
That's right. Enjoy it. Make a weekend out of it, right?
That's exactly what I did.
I'm gonna see you for your 24-hour stream. I'm gonna
be there. Saturday. Yes, Saturday.
I'll be there.
Yes, Saturday. I
got a bunch of wrestling topics, bro.
Beautiful. I got 9 a.m. I start at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Will not stop streaming until 9 a.m. Sunday. We're gonna raise some money and some awareness for the National Alliance of Mental Health and Illness. So I'm down to one 24-hour stream a year, but I'll talk more about it when we do it, but this is something definitely near and dear to my heart. So, definitely, LB, anytime you want to come on, whenever you're ready, you let me know. I'll drop the link because I'm there for 24 hours. Louis T will come through in the middle of the night, help me get through that graveyard shift because he don't sleep like me.
That's right.
So it'll be good. But definitely. I'd love to have you guys on the panel.
I'm just telling you right now, I'm having a cookout that night.
Yeah, you told me.
I'm gonna be lit. So
perfect.
I can't tell you what you're gonna get.
You're gonna put the lion's mane on the grill.
I got burgers. So I got my vegan burgers.
Right.
I'm putting them on the grill first, and then I got me some pasta salad that I'm gonna eat. So I'm good, man. I'm good. You told me you had lime, man. You said it tastes like steak.
Man, it was good. It was good. It was good. I was like, this shit tastes like steak.
People be trying to hate on the vegan lifestyle. You can find options if you're looking for them. You can find some.
Right. So I'm not I'm not vegan, but me and my
I know you're not vegan.
We just be trying, bro. We said, let's try this. We saw it on TikTok. It was like, man, this shit all right.
Yeah. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff that you be like, damn, this ain't bad. And it's a lot of stuff that you be like, this shit nasty as hell.
Yeah. Nah, just give me chicken and turkey all day.
That's it. That's
Bad Dog. On that. I am all protein all the time, baby.
Bad Dog is literally like cartoon characters' closet, right? The same shit every day.
It is. Outside of Saturday, you get
a cheat meal. I've seen your post. You get a cheat meal. You get a.
It's actually a cheat day because when I was really into this, like really stringent on what I was doing. Like now once in a while, like it was Tuesday and I just want a couple cookies. I have. I'm like, I don't go overboard. But what I would do, I just have the cheat meal. In my brain would say, hey, man, you got like 3 hours to go ballistic. And twice I ate so much I made myself sick.
Oh, no.
Like I can't do that. Like I literally was trying to get as much in as I could.
As you could, right.
And I remember leaving. We went to Chili's one night, and I remember I had like tortilla chips and salsa, my favorite. I love chips and salsa. I had that. I had fajitas. I had a couple beers. I had this chicken enchilada soup. My kid didn't finish his chocolate cake. I remember leaving Chili's just going, I don't feel good. And like 3 hours later, I laid down and I got sick. Then it was the night before opening day for the Giants in 2022. And I remember they won, and I go, I will throw up every night before the game if
that's going to result in a win.
That's where I was. I'm like, I will throw up every night if I have to for them to win. I didn't do that.
We are some weird and demented individuals, fans are. We will do anything to get dubs. Like almost anything, not anything. Almost anything. Like that's crazy. I'll get sick and vomit if we're gonna.
That shit is crazy. I guess they're saying I look sleepy. Somebody says I look
oh no, bro. You yawned about 10-15 minutes ago. I was like, uh-oh, LB back.
I did a tour day today, man. I went to the gym at 5 a.m. Then I went to the gym like at 4 when I got back home.
Yeah, he's definitely tired. So let me let these guys get out of here. We'll chop it up with you guys next time. I appreciate everybody that came out and joined us tonight. We look forward to doing it again. Y'all know what it is. Often imitated, never mother effing duplicated. It's the NFC East Super Friends. We are out.
Yes, sir.